So today we are going to look into and delve into and study the very first marriage of Kevin Samuels. And the reason why I think looking at that first marriage is imperative because I believe that a lot of the bitterness, the anger, the resentment, the bashing of the Black woman, and a lot of his lives and the advice that he gave to these women stems from his own past. You see, he went through a very long um, battle of divorce and child support and bench warrants for not appearing, all related to that first marriage. And so that first marriage, in my opinion, really set the tone for this man's life from then on. I think, in my opinion, it harbored a form of anger, bitterness. I don't think he ever got over it. I think he carried that anger and bitterness on to his next marriage and onto his career bashing Black women. Because, as you know, the women that are in his life that he was married to were Black women. And when he started his commentary, when he started to blow up, you notice some of the advice that he gave, I found it to be quite disturbing. And I thought, where is this advice coming from? There has to be something deeper. You could look into this man's face, you could look at his response, you can look at, in my opinion, the anger in his tone, in my opinion. And I could tell that there was a prior experience that this man experienced that made him formulate the mindset that he had. So this picture here is a mugshot of Kevin Samuels when he was younger. During his first marriage, when the first wife filed for divorce. Obviously, there was something he wasn't doing right in the relationship. And that's a lot of things that the Black men, they aren't doing things right in their relationship. They're not treating the women right. So American women, we do have standards. We do. Black women will have standards. After a while, if you keep treating us wrong, we will leave. And so Sherry, she filed for her divorce. And when you file for divorce and there's a child involved, it can be pretty long and drawn out, especially if you have other assets as well. Especially when there's a child custody battle, child support battle. And, he went through the traditional family court procedure. But him being a young man, a young Black man, I think that the process of the divorce, because I see a lot of these with the Black men out there. I used to actually practice family law before. So, they formulate this anger, you guys. It's a deep rooted anger inside. And a lot of times men don't deal with it. They don't deal with their hurt. They don't deal with the bitterness. They just carry it on to the next relationship and into their life. And so you have to look at a person's past to really understand their mindset. And so Kevin Samuel went through this marriage, had child support, wasn't appearing in court. He violated a court order. And so a bench warrant was issued for his arrest. There were some YouTubers out there blaming the woman. They are coming from a Black male perspective. And so they blame the woman saying, oh, she was filing for child support and she issued a bench warrant. First and foremost, a layperson cannot issue a bench warrant. Let's clarify that. A layperson cannot issue a bench warrant. A bench warrant is issued by the judge. Okay? The judge is the supreme authority in any case, civil or criminal. And so if a judge orders you to do something and you fail to comply with it, then they can issue a bench warrant for your arrest. And so that's what happened in this case. So, and I'm going to go over all the records for you guys so we can read them actually together, because there's people out there trying to claim up and down, oh, your sources, blah, blah, blah. But I actually got this from the Oklahoma District Court. So come for the district court now. That's one of the most, in my opinion, the most reliable sources you can rely upon are actually stamp file court records that we're going to go over today. So, he failed to appear. The court ordered him. They said, you need to appear for the next court date for your family case. They gave him an instruction. He failed to appear. He didn't comply with the instruction. So the court issued a bench warrant, which is what you would typically do in court. If you fail to appear and the court has instructed you to do that, they're going to issue a bench warrant for your arrest for contempt, basically contempt, because you failed to abide by an instruction. So that's where this whole mugshot comes from. You guys have seen this infamous mugshot. It has been floating around. even before Kevin Samuels passed away, there's tons of bloggers out there who were blogging on this guy because there were actually black man guys. You guys can look it up. You could just say Kevin Samuels criminal record and Google that on YouTube, and a bunch will pull up. And these guys have actually been reporting on this guy before he passed away because these black men were pretty much aware and intelligent. They didn't just blindly follow this man. They did the right thing that I told you guys to do. You need to research YouTubers, look up their background, see if they really are credible, who they say they are, right? Before you start actually taking someone's advice who's online who you never met. So these people did that. They went and did their research. They found, wait a minute, this guy's got, child custody issues, bench warrants for not appearing in court. He's got arrears for child support. Like, they were like, hold up, this man's trying to give me advice? And these dudes were like, no, we're not taking this man's advice. So these people were already looking this man up years before. I seen one from a year ago and a couple of other ones on YouTube. And so these people already had, looked this guy up. So basically, he had a long history of already child support. So that really started making me think about some of the advice he was giving black women. I'm going to give you 2 examples. So the first example, there was a woman. She was talking to Kevin Samuels about her ex-husband. I think she was talking about, wanting to get back with them and stuff, but he had divorced her, okay? And they had a couple of kids. And so she was, I guess during that discussion, she was saying something like he wasn't coming to take the kids because he didn't have a place to stay. He was actually sleeping on someone's couch or something. And Kevin Samuels said to her, and I'm gonna tell you where this came from, in my opinion. Kevin Samuels told her and he asked her, is he paying child support? She said, yeah. Because she's a single mother. A lot of these black women, you notice, guys, when it comes to a black man, most of the time, you'll notice if it's a black father, it ends up the relationship doesn't last. And then we have a lot of single black mothers out there. And now, because we see them, a lot of interracial in the modern times, a lot of black men are dating out of their race, which is a good thing in my opinion, because I'd rather you can have them. I don't want to, I want a successful marriage. So anyways, so they start dating out of their marriage now, and you notice still now we have Caucasian women who are single parents. Because like I'm saying, there's this issue, I believe, that's deep rooted. So basically, this woman is a single woman. She's got a couple of kids by this man. She's only one income trying to take care of these 3 mouths. I think it was 3 kids, actually. These 3 mouths by herself. And so she needed that child support because she didn't have the extra, man in the house. She didn't have the man in the house. You need that mother and father unit. And she was missing a part. She was missing part of an income to help support those kids. So she needed the child support, okay? But a lot of these men, they harbor this resentment and anger. So he asked her if she could, he said, you should cut him off of child support. Just cut off the child support. And if you watch that video, she looked very flabbergasted. She was kind of taken aback. She didn't really know what to say to that. She didn't know how to respond. She's like, really? Like, but I need the money. Like, and I could tell she was uncomfortable. And see, me not having kids, I didn't know really what she was going through, but I do remember, seeing a lot of I have friends that are single parents out there and how they struggle and stuff. And so I was like, okay, so this woman is by herself trying to feed these multiple mouths. I was thinking she needs that child support, and I was like, why is he giving her this crazy advice? And see, the reason why I was questioning his advice, because I didn't know his background. And that's why it's important to look at people's background. Why did he give her that advice? He said, let's go more into his advice. So then he tells her, he said, cut him off child support. He said, you see, because he can't afford to get a house to have the kids because you're charging him child support. That's why he's sleeping on the couch. And so I'm like, okay, so that's where it's coming from. So this is what happened to him. So this is what happened to Kevin Samuels. That's where the advice came from. This man, when he got through the divorce, he had to pay child support because in the court documents that we're going to walk through, there is a section that says that the petitioner, who was the wife who filed for divorce, Sherry Cravens, I think is her name. Now it is, but her name was Sherry Samuels at the time. But in some of the court records that we'll take a look at, there's a part where the court orders or basically says that she has primary custody and he gets, just visitation rights. So what that happens is the person that has the child the majority of the time, then that's used in the calculations in terms of considering child support. And so they calculate, how much time is the father with the children? How much time is the mother with the children? What's their income? And then it's a formula that they enter into to get a number, basically. And that number can really go either way, depending on each person's income and the amount of time the children are with the parents. So that's what happened in this case, more than likely, based on the court records. And he was ordered to pay child support. And we're actually going to go and see the court record where he finally paid it off last year. But basically, I think he was struggling. He was in arrears. This man was in arrears. He wasn't paying for a point in time. So I think after a while, this man harbored anger and his resentment for the Black woman. He felt that women were just leaving these Black men and putting us on child support and taking our kids away and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-woo, right? And so he took that bitterness, got on a platform. First, he started ridiculing men, holding them accountable, and you already seen what that happened with that. None of the men wouldn't listen. They didn't want to listen to their mess. And then they loved seeing him bash women. So now you see them all online. They come and harassing and stalking my page at the instructions of their little narc attorney over there, telling them, giving them orders and instructions. And I wasn't able to show you those posts that I was trying to show you guys because my screen went black yesterday. So towards the end, please somebody remind me to go over there because I wanted to show you guys actually where he's actually instructing them. He's telling them that if they don't go and strike my YouTube channel, other people's YouTube channels, the Roast Network channel and stuff, then he's not going to give them the autopsy report, or he's not going to let them know funeral services. Well, I know there are a lot of Kevin Samuels people out there who didn't like that, because he's claiming up and down that people are reporting, commentary or allegations out there. He's claiming that we're over here harming the family and fans and everyone, but he's harming them by holding information. So for those Kevin Samuels fans out there who want to see the funeral, and you've got this narc attorney over there, in my opinion, holding information for you, sending you out as flying monkeys to go harass and harass other YouTubers like myself and stalk us and disclose our personal information, you can go to the Paperwork channel. The Paperwork channel actually found the body of Kevin Samuel. He knows exactly where the funeral home is, and he is going to be streaming the memorial service, the actual funeral, on his live, okay? So you don't have to depend on narc attorney anymore. There's other YouTubers out there who are researching this story. They've got the scoop, they got the information. So you don't have to be a flying monkey and blind follower. You guys know what's up. There's people in those comments over there that are saying Kevin Samuels would not ever do the things that Dennis Sperling is doing, that he is dishonoring Kevin Samuels' legacy. So it's like you got Kevin Samuels fans over there trying to, tell him, instruct him, look, you're not even following what Kevin Samuels would want us to do. You're over here holding crucial information from us. So that was interesting. So Paper Network, Kevin Samuels followers out there, worshipers out there, you guys can go to that channel. Don't worry about doing Mr. Narc Attorney's dirty work of harassing people. And actually, I'm going to show you guys. Please remind me, guys, because I'd be forgetting. There is a young lady who is sweet. God bless her. She actually posted on one of my comments, my community page, and told me that the narc attorney has a habit of going after people. She said that he went after her and she had to change her identity. She had to take her profiles off. She had to go straight into hiding because this man was harassing her and another woman online. So it's like this man has been harassing different women out there. I'm thinking, this is an attorney and all that. No, he's got a whole mafia, in my opinion. And he sends these people out to harass and terrorize women, in my opinion. That's what this woman was saying. I don't know that to be true, guys. I'm just saying based on what this woman said in her comment. I'm going to read out her comment because I really appreciate her, advice, like showing me pretty much what's going on, because I don't really, care for this guy and go into his whole life like that. But it seems like he has a habit of going around bullying people, and seems like women too. And it's just kind of disgusting. So let's go into this court records now. So I went to the Oklahoma State Courts. So this is in the District Court for Oklahoma, or Oklahoma County, Oklahoma. So you guys know this is where originally Kevin Rochon was born and raised, and he married his childhood sweetheart. This is Sherry LaShawn Samuel. That was the petitioner. And I told you guys what petitioner means. That is the person who files the petition for divorce. They initiate the divorce papers. And the respondent is the person who is served with those divorce papers, and they have to respond to the divorce initiation. You can also see that this is a specific type of divorce with children, a minor child. So they know that they're going to have to look into custody and child support and different things like that. So there's going to be a little bit more of a layer. So I just want to show you the name so you know who we're dealing with. We know that his name is Kevin, and he does spell his middle name like this, Roshan Samuels. And we have Sherry LaShawn Samuels, okay? So let's really go into this whole, I want to go into the full thing, you guys, because I want you guys to see the history. So it might take a little while to go through it. Just be patient with me. We need to look at this man's history because it really does, you guys. And then when you know his past, you can go back and watch those videos and it will put context to the videos, where it's coming from. Because these are a man that was bitter. A man that was bitter, a man that had a lot of hatred, and in my opinion, unforgiveness for his ex-wife who had dragged him through, in his opinion, this is his mindset. I'm trying to tell you what his mindset was. Dragged him through, you know, divorce proceedings, and a lot of these black men, they were like, these women keep leaving us. It's because of your behavior, but they don't look at that. They look at, oh, she left me, and now she got me for child support. And so they harbor this anger. It's a really deep, deep anger. You guys can talk to a lot of black men out there who have been through this, and they will tell you, you can see the anger in their voice when they talk about that child support. So once you see this, take that now and go watch the videos, and you'll start to see, oh, okay, that's why he gave her that advice. Oh, that's why he reacted. He's a little bit overreacted on that. Oh, but that's because he's personalizing it. So let's look at this. So the attorneys that were involved was Cynthia Rowe, Daytona, and then we had Joel A. Porter. So both of them had attorneys. And usually if one has an attorney, you definitely want to get an attorney, because anyone who has an attorney on their side in a family court case is going to pretty much have leverage, a lot of leverage, because they know how to work the system. They know what arguments to make. So, you know, both of them got their attorneys. So let's start with this. So issue with minor children filed by. You always got to look at that. When you see who filed it, then you know who initiated the divorce, who's the one that basically left the relationship. So filed by Sherry LaShawn Samuels. And let's start looking into the whole history, okay? This is the docket. The docket is giving you the court. It's keeping record of everything that happens in that case. It's like a chronological, historical record of what happened between the people involved in the case. So this case started out December 11, 2003. That was a family domestic initially filing. So that's when she filed her divorce based on this court record. And this is all allegations, but if you go to the court website for the Oklahoma District Court, you can also look this up for free. It's free. I know there's a lot of sites out there that charge you, but if you go to the actual court website and type in Kevin Roshan Samuels or her name, Sherry LaShawn Samuels, and their date of birth, you guys already know that, you will find all this yourself. So 12/11/2003, divorce with minor children. So that's when they're saying this is initially what happened. The petition is what I told you where she filed. That's the court filing document. Law library fee. They have to pay a lot of fees because these are civil court. So civil court has a lot of fees. Anytime you file something in court, you got to pay. So they're talking about the fees, the different types of fees that she had to pay. She had to pay a law library fee because it looks like they needed, you know, I'm thinking she had an attorney. Why did she? But anyways, maybe that's what they traditionally charge in Oklahoma. Law library fee, dispute meditation fee. And you need this if you have children involved, because you got to go through mediation. Mediation. You have to go through mediation. And so a mediator comes in, they meet with the two parents, they hear both of their backgrounds, they submit documents to the mediator, and then the mediator will submit a suggestion to the court. They'll say, you know, based on my discussions with the two parties, you know, I think such and such should be the primary parent, and then such and such can have visitations. Or they'll say, you know, they should both have visitation. And most of the time, the courts will go with what the mediator says. The attorneys will argue, and if attorneys disagree with the mediator, they'll argue it, and they'll give their legal arguments for why they disagree with the mediator. But the most of the times I've seen when I was a family law attorney, I've seen that the judges normally sided with the mediator. I mean, you'd have to really give a very strong argument to really surpass a mediator. My experiences of watching these mini court cases, mediator usually would take the precedent. So you really want, if you're in family court, you really want to win the mediator over, because that's really what's going to give you leverage. But anyway, so they did a statutory fee. She had to pay all kinds of fees because it's quite expensive. I'm not sure what the total fees are for. Oh, look, they calculated for us right here. So you got 130 was for the petition itself. And this is actually cheap compared to other states. $6 for the library fee. Dispute mediation fee was only $2, and the statutory fee was $10, and then court clerk administration fee of collections was $1, and the summons fee was $5. So those were the fees, guys, for that. So she had to do that. And then so as we go down, they're saying here's 12.3. They're just giving us repeated information. Okay, application for a temporary order. That's what the court, I guess they must have had a hearing, and so they did it. They applied for a temporary order. That tells me, and this is just my opinion, guys, because I haven't looked at this. I didn't pull this one up. This doesn't allow me to pull this record up. But application for temporary order, it looks like, in my opinion, she filed her petition, and then with her petition, she filed a temporary order for some reason to have, I guess, primary custody at the time because they didn't make a decision yet. And this is just my opinion, guys. I don't know for sure, but it looks like that based on the temporary order that they were asking, can I just have temporary order until the mediator and the court determines, who's gonna have primary custody or who are we gonna have equal custody? We don't know yet, so can I just get a temporary order? That's what my opinion is. I wasn't able to pull this one up, so we're just gonna keep going through. OCIS has automatically assigned Judge Walker Geary to this case. So they assign a judge. That's usually what happens after you file your petition. Then you get a petition. You get assigned a judge who's going to look at your whole case, who's going to walk you through. Sometimes if the attorneys have worked with that judge, they don't like them, they can hurry up and file a petition to get another judge if they, state their arguments for why they think this judge is not going to be fair in the case. But it looks like this judge was assigned the file. So you can see that they're saying somebody paid $154. This payer, Joel Porter, is interesting. I'm not sure if somebody paid for her. Because, guys, actually, and I'm going to say this, I don't know if this to be true, but based on Paper Network, he actually went into this whole thing deeper. I'm not going to go too deep into the wife, but later down the line, looks like during this situation, she had to file for bankruptcy. So I'm not sure if she was struggling. That's allegation, and just go look at Paperwork's video on that. He has a video on that. And I'm not going to go into her bankruptcy, but he has the documents. He goes through the documents with you. But I'm wondering, I don't know if she was struggling with trying to pay the fees. Who knows? But they said somebody else here paid this $154. So here, 12/22/2003 summons. So he was summoned to come to court, basically, right? And you have his name there, Kevin Roshan. Oops. Sorry, guys. So Kevin Roshan Samuels. So he was summoned to come to court, okay? He gets his summons. He gets served, right? He gets served with a petition from his wife saying, I don't want to be with you anymore. It's a divorce. All right, so he has to answer now. He has to respond. That's what they call the person who is, that basically is being divorced. They have to respond to the petition. So it looks like he answered. So he answered, gave his response. It says, answer by respondent Kevin Roshan Samuel. So he filed his response. Okay? So now we've got both parties. They filed their court documents to respond. Now we're ready to take action in the case. So Mr. Walker was the judge here. You can see here in the blue, January 22, 2004. So Mr. Walker, he enters a temporary order settled as per court minute. So he enters the temporary order. That was the one member back here. She filed for an application order. I don't know exactly what was the substance of that order, but whatever it was, the court granted it based on this, allegedly. The court ordered the settled as, or sorry, where is it at? Yeah, as temp order, settled as per court minute. And you guys can look that stuff up, but I don't want to go into the court minutes. But whatever it was, the court decided it on January 22, 2004. So that application here was addressed here, January 22, 2004. And there's a court minute here that reflects it. And a lot of times you'll see when they have a court date or they have something that happens, they've got multiple entries for it because a lot of stuff happened during that same, transaction here. So you can see they did a court minute and then there's another court minute. So a lot happened in that same day. So motion or application for contempt citation post judgment, $20. Oh, and let me go back and talk about that temporary order, guys, because I missed that. So application for temp order, It can actually include a lot of things. Sorry guys, I didn't address this. So temporary orders can include a lot of things. It can include child custody, temporary order for child custody. It can include a temporary order for spousal support and a temporary order for, the child custody visitation. So that temporary order could have encompassed a bunch of stuff. So I don't know exactly what it all encompassed. Her attorney, probably if he was a good attorney, he would have filed all that stuff. He would have said temporary order for primary custody, temporary order for child support, and this is what the income was, such and such. We are asking for a temporary order right now just so she can have some money until they resolve the actual final decision. And if he was making money, or they should probably would have asked for spousal support, a temporary order while the case goes through the process. So again, we don't know what the actual order was, but whatever happened, the judge determined it here, whatever that was. But I'm saying if that was a good judge, if that was a good attorney, he would have included all the different temporary orders. But here, this is interesting. Motion or application for contempt citation post-judgment. That's significant, you guys. That means there was a temporary order that the court issued here. Remember? Ordered it. And somebody failed to comply with this order. So what happened was the attorney who basically is representing the person that is on the side of basically the court said, hey, you are entitled to $500, right, a month. Let's just give an example. And say the other person that was supposed to pay the $500 doesn't do it. So the attorney for the person who is, supposed to get the $500, that attorney is going to file an application for contempt to say that person didn't comply with your order that you gave us. So they're in contempt of your order post-judgment, because this was the judgment. They're saying after the judgment. The judgment was January 22, 2004, when they issued this temporary order settled as per court, right? So after this judgment here, somebody didn't obey the court order. All right, we don't know who it is because there's no names, but in my opinion, you guys, I think it was Kevin Samuels. I'm just giving my opinion because they must have ordered him to pay something and he didn't do it. So they filed a contempt citation, but I don't have any proof of that here because they didn't let me pull that part up, but let's just keep going. So there's a statutory fee for that. They had to pay the fee for that. Like I said, anything in civil court, you're going to be paying all kinds of money. Anything you file, you got to pay. Court clerk administrator fee on collection. So they were paying all the fees for that application to say this person didn't comply, right? Now let's go into May 6, 2004. Okay. Joel Porter paid amount again, $31. Interesting. I don't know, my computer is so sensitive. Interesting here, guys. You see that? It says, this is a case. All these are file numbers, you guys. These are case numbers here. FD2, these are all case numbers. The same case number for this case is FD20036344. Write that number down. If you want to look this case up directly, you can look this case up in the Oklahoma court just by putting in that family court number, filing number. Each case gets a filing number. So basically, look, they paid all these fees. But it's interesting. They said child abuse multidisciplinary fee. Child abuse? What? But that's a fee they paid. Who knows? But that's very interesting. Very interesting, just to keep that in context. And again, I want to give my disclaimer. This is all allegations. This information was derived from the Oklahoma District Court website. All right. So 6/2/2004, the judge, remember I told we had a judge that was assigned, contempt arraignment, stricken, no service. Okay. So they filed this application. They were supposed to personally, so whatever attorney filed that application for contempt, they were supposed to make sure that the respondent was personally served. They had to comply with court orders. They had to bring proof to the court to say, hey, this person was personally served in compliance with the court, laws or state laws, whatever it was, okay? And they give that document to the judge. The judge sees that personal service was applied with, and they go forward, okay? So then here, they had a hearing, June 2nd, 2004, a month later. And the judge, Mr. Walker, if you guys remember him, who was assigned to the case, he does a contempt arraignment. He said it was stricken, no service. So he's saying they weren't, it's interesting. Stricken, no service, contempt arraignment, stricken, no service. That can mean two of either things, though. So I'm probably not going to go into detail of that since I don't have the actual paper, the actual court record to pull that up. But 8/18/2004, the judge says contempt arraignment, def or defendant, that means respondent. Defendant, respondent, they're the same thing. They're interchangeable. Failed to, you guys got to read that yourself. I'm not putting this, it's nothing I'm saying. Appear, bench warrant issued. And notice who issued the warrant, because people keep saying the wife issued. The wife can't do anything. She can scream till she's blue in the face, and the court doesn't make decisions by, a layperson saying, hey, issue a bench warrant. No, the person has to fail to comply with a court order. All right. So they said, the judge said it was supposed to be arraigned. They were supposed to be at the courthouse. They did not appear. They didn't comply with the order to be there. Because when you're served those court documents, it'll give you a date and say you have to appear at court on this date. And the judge will sign that and say you have to be here. And if you don't come, now there's a bench warrant issued. So somebody didn't apply. So this one, we actually have a court minute. So let's take a look at that court minute. Okay. So the handwriting on this is pretty bad, you guys. So I'm going to try to read through it. So in the District Court of Oklahoma County, state of Oklahoma, so people know this is not from us, filed, has a stamp filed by the District Court on the date, August 18, 2004. All right. All showing this is a court document. So Sherry is a wife petitioner, and her attorney's Joe Porter. That makes sense now, you guys. Remember I was wondering who's paying for this thing? Oh, she's giving her money when she's paying the fees. She's giving her money that she needs to pay these fees to, and which is typical. If you're being represented by attorney, they'll charge you the fees for the retainer, and they'll say you got to pay this fee for the filing fee, because they already know the court filing fees, and you pay all that to the attorney, and they pay your fees on your behalf because you've basically given them your fees that you need to pay. So all those different entries that we saw were saying Joel Porter, he was the one that was just paying the fees on her behalf because she gave him the money basically to pay her fees. So that explains that now, guys, who he was. Kevin Roshan Samuels, and at the time he was pro se. That means he didn't have an attorney representing him at the time. So August 18, 2004, we got Judge Walker. He's our assigned attorney. Petitioner's application for contempt citation. So this is remember that application I was telling you about. So now we have context. Remember I said I didn't know who was filing it, what exactly is going on. I don't know what side, but now we know who did it. So Sherry, her attorney, filed an application for contempt citation. So they're saying, hey, judge, you gave Roshan, you gave Mr. Samuels, you gave him an order. You told him that he needed to do such and such and such, and he didn't do it. So we're going to file this to tell you he's not following your instructions. So that's what they did, basically. So the petitioner here, hopefully you guys can read that, pretty terrible handwriting, but I'll read it for you as best I can. It says, petitioner appears by and through attorney Joel A. Porter on the above mentioned matter, and the respondent failed to appear after receiving good service. See, they know that. Notice of said court date. See, they know that you have to give. There's certain things you have to do before it activates the court's order. The court will say, hey, you need to be here. But if that person's not personally served in compliance with the certain standards of the law for that state, then none of this matters. It doesn't matter if he violates because he didn't get personal service. But they're saying there was good service. He was served. They're saying he was given the notice, the due process notice that he had a court date, time and a place. He was told to be there, Your Honor. That's what they're saying. And he didn't come. The court, after reviewing petitioner's verification of service, issues a bench warrant for the respondent. Okay, that's what her attorney said. Her attorney's asking the court, say, hey, he didn't follow your order, sir. You told him to be here. He didn't follow it. So you need to do something about it. That's basically in layperson's translation. Sometimes attorneys use all these fancy languages. So I'm trying to, speak it in more simple terms, as they're just saying, trying to tell the judge he didn't follow the instructions, right? So the judge sees this once it's filed, and then he makes a determination, and his determination was, okay, I do agree with you. I did make that order. You have personally served him in compliance. They have to show proof of that. They have to give the document to the judge, or to the clerk, and the clerk is to the judge, of course. And then they issued the bench warrant. And based on that pleading that we just saw there, the application that we just saw, it was against Kevin Samuels. So now there's a bench warrant issued for him for failing to appear, violating the court instruction, allegedly. Okay. So affidavit of service, they go ahead and do that. Order for issue of bench warrant. So let's look at that. Let's take a look at that bench warrant, guys. We're going to look at all these documents. So take your time, look through the documents also. I'm trying to make it as visual as I can. Okay, so here I want to verify what document we're looking at. In the District Court of Oklahoma, State of Oklahoma, stamped filed copy by the clerk. You want to see that as your verification that it actually was filed in the court, and it was. It gives us the date of August 20, 2004. So this is a filed copy in the court. We got verification. We've got the family case number there. That's the number you can use to look up this case in Oklahoma. Any of you guys can do that. And then we have here our petitioner, the one that initiated this divorce in the first place. She's the one that said, I want a divorce. And we've got respondent, okay? So order for issuance of bench warrant. Let's take a look at a summary of what exactly this pleading says. Okay? I'm gonna read through this, guys, because I want you guys to get context. It said, now on this, August 18th, 2004, this matter coming on regularly before this court for arraignment of Kevin Roshan Samuels, who has been duly served with an application for indirect civil contempt of court on a citation herein before properly issued against and served upon above named individual with indirect contempt of court for willful failure failure with an order of this court. Remember, so I wanted you to see that this wasn't an order from Sherry. This was an order from the court. They told him to do something, and this little summary saying he didn't do it. He didn't comply. Okay, so it's called civil contempt of court. All right. Now, arraignment means they're basically advising him of this information. They're giving it's like an initial introductory type of hearing where they're basically, telling him, hey, this is what you're being alleged of doing, failing to, comply with a court order. They're giving him, the pleading information, and they're letting him know, what the allegations are basically in this type of bench warrant. So that's what the arraignment is. He's getting the introduction of the information that is alleged against him in the court. So further, the above named and charged individual, although 3 times called in open court, appeared not but wholly made default and by reason thereof. So they're saying we called him 3 times in court, but he didn't appear. See, court languages can be a little bit convoluted and not clear. So he says appeared not. So it sounds like, what does that really mean? It's meaning he didn't appear. They're saying he was called 3 times in open court and he didn't appear. And he made a default. Default means you're not there. You're not responding, nothing. There's a petition, something filed, but you're just not responding. So it is hereby ordered that a bench warrant issue for the arrest. I didn't make it up. People keep trying to say, oh, you guys are making up stuff. No, we're getting it from sources. This is a court record here. Arrest of Kevin Roshan Samuels. And this is it says a court order, not the wife. The court did this. The court made the decision. They said they want to issue a warrant for his arrest. And that said individual be brought immediately before this court to answer the charge of indirect civil contempt. And I told you what that word contempt means. It's just they're not abiding by instructions by the court. So that is considered contempt when you're not obeying a court order, a court instruction. Okay, so let's look at this second paragraph, because this second paragraph is going to let us know what the bench warrant amount was. What did he have to pay? After, basically what would happen is once this bench warrant is issued, it gets sent to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office starts looking for this guy. Once they find him, they arrest him. He goes through the booking process, basically, and he will, have to pay a bench warrant to be released. He has to pay whatever the fees are. So the fees for this bench warrant says it is further ordered that an appearance bond be set in the amount of $3,922.42. So that was his bench warrant. It wasn't that bad. I mean, that's not before, a person who's struggling. I don't know what kind of his income was, because people out there were saying he was not high value at this time. I mean, if you look through the court records, which we're going to go through, it didn't seem like, he was paying his child support. So I don't know if that's high value. He was talking about all this high value man while he was over here not even paying his child support. And he didn't finish paying his child support till last year. And we're going to look at the court record. We're going to look at the court record because I don't want nobody coming for me. It is a filed copy that shows he finished last year. And this, he has been doing this since 2020, giving all these advice to women. And when he was not acting like a high value man, in my opinion, he was not even paying. How is that high value when you're not even paying your child support, sir? I mean, make it make sense. Okay, so there's the bench warrant there. They said, named and charged individual be remanded to the custody of the sheriff. So remember, I told you the sheriff is going to be the one that gets this information. It gets transmitted over to them. Then they start searching for the person. And they're going to serve him, and they're going to arrest him, book him, give him a mugshot. He's got to pay that bench warrant, or 10%, or whatever the amount is, percentage is. Got to pay that, and then they get released. And basically, they have to go back to court. Otherwise, they lose that amount. And then they got to pay the entire amount. So state of Oklahoma for confinement in the county jail of Oklahoma County Jail. I didn't say it. That's what the court, we showed that this is a filed court document. That anyone, public record, you guys can all go and take a look for yourself. Don't take my little video of it. Just go ahead and do it yourself. It's all for free, too. You can do this yourself. So it says here, confinement in county jail of Oklahoma County until good. So this is the condition. They're saying he needs to be in jail until. They're saying he needs to do these things to get out of jail. That's what this means right here. He needs to do these things here after the until to get released from jail. So what does he need to do? Let's look at that. Good and sufficient bond of the nature described above is properly posted. So that's what the judge said. The judge said, if you're going to have to remain in jail until you give a good and sufficient bond of the nature described. Good, in my opinion, is basically saying a percentage of it, percentage of it that they require that he pay of that amount. And what they define as sufficient. So they're going to give him a definition of what they define as sufficient. So it is further ordered of this court that the above named and charged individual may purge himself of contempt, meaning he can relinquish, he can basically be relieved of any form of contempt at any time during this proceeding or pendency of this action by paying $3,922.42 by the cashier's check, money order, cash to, they give the court clerk's name, Oklahoma County, and the case number. This is an important case number. Remember, I said you got to keep this one, write this one down if you want to go look this case up for yourself, because I encourage you guys to do that for yourself because it gives you the knowledge behind these people. You can't just go online. This is a lesson to everybody. You can't just go online blindly listening to someone because they're in a suit. They sound elegant. They sound really sly with words. And it leads you down a path of destruction because you're taking wrong advice from someone who was not living high value, who was not, he wasn't even complying with court orders. He's being told to go somewhere, and he can't even do that, in my opinion, because this is a bench warrant issued for this amount, and he's told to go to jail until he can pay a sufficient, good and sufficient bond of the nature described above. And these are people out here taking this man's advice. All right? So that was August 2004. Looking at the history, we can see that it's filed. Also, guys, it's a significant thing here. This is a court document. So now we get to actually look at the correct date of birth, because there are tons of date of births floating around there, floating all into the ether. Some people say he's 56. Some people say he's 57. This man's actual birth, because this is from a court filing, guys. This was filed in the court of law. So I would take the court's, of course, everything's alleged, but I would take the court's descriptors over social media, over news outlets, over all that. So this is, in my opinion, his date of birth. Based on this court document we have, There's his full name. There's his date of birth, March 13, 1969. So this man was not 56 or 57 when he passed away. All right. He was way younger, which makes it even more of a sad, premature death. You know, it's really sad. Very sad that this man died so young. He was in his early 50s. It's not cool. Okay. But let's look at some other stuff about him, guys. We're learning a lot about this guy. So look, he has distinguishing marks. He has a tattoo of Black Panther on his arm. People are saying that he probably was in the Black Panther. I'm not sure if that's true, but there are some rumors floating around that he was in the Black Panther. So that's a pretty interesting thing we learned about him. And, you know, they listed his address, but, you know, that's old. So that was the bench warrant. We got a chance to look at that for ourselves. We saw the stamp file copy with the Oklahoma court. That's a pretty good source, I would say. When you guys say that's pretty good source you would want to rely on as an allegation, in your opinion, versus a news outlet? Since people want to complain and say, oh, you're looking at this news report, you're looking at, well, fine, we're going to pull up the court records in, since y'all want to complain. Okay? So let's move on. We got the bench warrant. He served. Oh, did we look at this, guys? Here it is. Here it is. This is very important. The red, guys. Let's take a deep look at this, okay? So they issue it. They tell them, they send off to the sheriff's department. They say, go find this guy, okay? So on 9 September 7, 2004, the bench warrant payment was made. Right here, warrant issued to Kevin Roshan Samuels from the judge. They're saying this is the judge that issued it. They're not saying, this does not read this. This does not say Sherry on there. Sherry Samuels. Does it say Sherry Samuels? Let me know in the chat. The judge issued this, not her. Let's stop blaming the wife. Let's stop blaming the woman when she's doing what she can. If she don't want to be with this man, she don't want to be with him. Clearly there was something not right with that man, because women are not going to just leave a man just because. There had to have been something that happened in that relationship. I'm sorry, women will be there till the end unless you're doing something, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. So the judge and the bond amount, right? So that means bench warrant issued service, by sheriff. That means they caught up with him. They found him. They probably went to his last known address, found where he was, and they arrested him. They served him the bench warrant. They said, here's a bench warrant. And then they took him into custody. And they said, you've been served with this bench warrant for failure to appear. And you're going to have to pay a sufficient amount of this. Remember, we went over that language in the bench warrant, and it gave us the sufficient amount of that. And it looks like they said he paid. It says up here, they said he paid. So he got arrested, got the mugshot, and they said bench warrant payment. Okay. So that was pretty interesting, and it's all in red. And that's where this mugshot comes from. So this infamous mugshot that we've seen, that's where that mugshot comes from this arrest. Allegedly. Okay. So receipt 12/15/2004, receipt payer Joel. Remember who Joel is. That's her attorney. So her attorney paid on her behalf because she gave him the money. Here's the money for the fees. She made the payment because she had to make the payments. Again, civil court can be quite expensive, you guys. It's very, very expensive, especially for, a person who's, has a kid, trying to pay for a kid. Now you got to pay divorces and all the many, many fees you have to pay. Whew, it can add up. So anyways, February 8th, 2005, application for default judgment. Remember, we talked about default. And I want to break down that word just to get a definition before we go more, because some of the language sometimes in these court records can be quite confusing for people who don't have that legal background. And so it's good to look up these words. Okay. So let's just look up default so we can just break down the word for everybody. So default means failure to do something required, duty or law, neglect. All right. Failure to do something required by duty or law. So he's required to respond. He's required to be in court regarding this divorce. And they're saying, they filed something saying he's not responding. He's not doing what he's supposed to do based on the instructions. or just neglect. You're just not even responding. You're just not, you're not there. You're not in compliance, in their opinion. And when they do that, they can sometimes the court could just issue a ruling right there and say, okay, I grant the default. We're going to go ahead and issue this amount to this person, this amount to this person. It just depends on what they decide. So failure to pay debts, fault, failure to appear at the required time in a legal proceeding, failure to compete in or to finish an appointed contest. So that's some of the words, just going into the language. So when we put it back together, we kind of know what they're saying, because again, this language can be confusing. So an application was filed. That means one of the parties filed it. When it says application, somebody on whatever side filed this application. In my opinion, you guys, it sounds like it probably was Mr. Joel Porter that filed that application. Okay. Hopefully we can take a look at it. There's a little juicy file here we're gonna look at, guys. You see these little PDFs? We're gonna get into that. So somebody files an application. They say this person is not complying. The other side is not complying. They're being neglectful. Basically, they're just not participating in the legal proceedings. So now the court has to take a look at this application, bring the parties on into a hearing, take a look, let's see what you're saying, this application you're talking about. So the judge did on March 4th, 2005. Judge took a look, Judge Walker. He said, plaintiff, present with counsel. So that means Sherry was present. Remember, she's our plaintiff. Plaintiff and petitioner are used interchangeably. So if you hear plaintiff, then it's petitioner. It's the person that filed the documents. They initiated whatever the case is. So present with counsel, defendant. All right, that's Kevin Roshan Samuels. Remember, he's the respondent. Respondent and defendant are interchangeable. Defendant failed to appear. They don't know why they spelled it wrong, but it's supposed to be appear there. Dissolution of divorce granted. Bam. Bam. You know what that means? That means they filed that default. That was the application we talked about. They had a hearing about it. And the court said, I agree. The other party is not listening. So I'm going to go ahead and grant your order. And that's what they did. And let's take a look and read it now. We get to read it, guys. The juicy court record. Yes, let's get on in it. We get to read it, you guys. What did the court say? Okay, so the wife, she got a pretty good ruling. I bet she was happy, like, yes, praise the Lord. So the court ruled in her favor based on her attorney. So let's take a look at this. So again, we got to really verify the document, trust but verify. Let's see what kind of document we're dealing with. It's in the District Court of Oklahoma County, state of Oklahoma. We can see that stamp, which we want to look for to see if it actually was filed in the court, filed in the District Court, Oklahoma County. With the date it was filed, March 7th. We've got the deputy clerk here who signed for it. So that's good. We know that that's what's actually filed. We got the case number there. We got our parties involved. Let's take a look at the language now. So decree of dissolution and decree of divorce and dissolution of marriage, ending the marriage. Let's take a look at this language. On March 4th, 2005, this matter regularly came on for hearing pursuant to the motion for default judgment filed by petitioner, filed by Sherry, on February 8th, 2005. The court found that respondent, that means Kevin Samuels, allegedly, has failed to respond nor answer. Remember we talked about, we looked up default and what it meant, and he's basically telling us what default means. Failed to respond nor answer as required by the court, and respondent is in default. That means the judge agreed with Sherry and said, I agree with you. Yes, he's failed to respond nor answer, so I'm going to grant your application that you applied for, basically, for default. The court found that this matter was properly presented for hearing by the petitioner at the time. They're saying petitioner was in compliance with their filing, whereupon the court proceeded to review the court file and appearance docket and receive the evidence and the argument of counsel. On March 4th, 2005, being fully advised in the premises, the court found, ordered, and adjudged and decreed as follows. Let's look what the judge decided. This is the stuff we really want to look at, okay? Because this is what the judge determined was the end result for this divorce. Petitioner and respondent were fully married on September 15th, 2002. So they divorced 2004. So that was almost over 2 years, depending on when they divorced. But let's take a look. So, oh look, fully advised, order, judge, decree as follows. So that's 2005 is when it was actually finalized. So this was a long, drawn out divorce. It was like a whole year, it seems like, because she filed in 2004. But married September 15, 2004, and finalized 2005 of March in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and have ever since been husband and wife. The parties are the parents of the following minor child: Caitlin Samuels, born June 29, in Oklahoma. The parties have no minor children, and petitioner is not pregnant. Both parties were bona fide residents of this state for more than 6 consecutive months prior to the filing of this action. The court has subject matter jurisdiction concerning this action, and venue is proper in this county. Now, I'm not going to post the photo of Caitlin, but there is actually a YouTuber out there, Paper Network, who found the actual daughter, allegedly. And he's over there posting her picture, if you guys want to go over there. I'm not going to post her picture here. But he says that he found it, allegedly. Who knows, though? Both parties were bona fide residents of this state for more than 6 consecutive months prior to filing this action. The court has subject matter jurisdiction concerning this action, and venue is proper for this county. Okay, all this stuff is just going to be a lot of statutory stuff, so I'm going to try to go down to the real stuff. Okay, it's getting to the children, so hold on, guys. Let me get to the part about the daughter right here. So it is we're on B, because all this stuff is just, talking about where she is jurisdiction. Oklahoma was home state of the minor. They're just analyzing the key factors for child custody. They're saying the home state was Oklahoma. That's where the kid was residing. So it's in the best interest of the child to remain in that state because that's where the kid is from. That's what they're saying. They usually use the best interest standard when it comes to child custody. So they're saying that's where the kid needs to stay, in Oklahoma, because the kid has been there ever since. Okay. All right, so let's just look at this part. Number 4, the parties' marriage should be dissolved and divorce should be awarded to both parties by reason of incompatibility of each party to the other. She requesting the same. Petitioner should be restored to her former last name, Cravens. So people kept coming on my channel attacking my stuff about the who's dating who. It was like, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not her. La, la, la. And look, this is a court file document. Again, this is all allegations, but look, this is a court document. They're saying the same names that we said, allegedly, from that website. Because somebody was like, oh, you going on websites now? Yeah, we're looking at websites. They're allegations. We can do that. Okay. But now a court document is now confirming, in my opinion, allegedly, that this was her maiden name, that was on that who said who or whatever it was, who's dating who website. So she's going back to her maiden name now, Cravens. Custody, this is the part you guys need to see, because this is one of the things that I believe, in my opinion, formulated this bitterness as it relates to children and child custody and all that stuff. Because what the black man thinks is that these black women are divorcing them, taking their kids away, charging them with all this child support. And that's some of the anger that they have. Some of it, stems from that deep-rooted anger. So number 6 is very important. And if you guys actually look this up and print it out, highlight number 6, because that's very important to this man's background. Custody of said minor child should be awarded, all right, to the petitioner. That means the mom. And respondent, Kevin Samuels, should be awarded visitation. He didn't like that. But see, he wasn't, based on the records, allegedly he wasn't complying with court orders or telling him to come to court. He's not showing up. So, I mean, he did this to himself. How are you mad at the black woman, Miss Cravens here, for what you did? That's what I'm saying. These men over here blaming women, getting angry, doing all these platforms, calling black women ghetto black women, and we going to other countries. We need to go. He's over, and Mr. Narc Attorney over there, in my opinion, he's over there, brainwashing his little subscribers to go to other countries. He did this whole video yesterday, I think it was, showing them all these places he's visited and how, you know, this is where I met my little, you know, wife or whatever, allegedly. My woman, I met some woman over there. Actually, there's a video out there too that he went on Fox News, guys. He went on Fox News a couple years ago, and he was talking about it, you know, how he and 3 of his colleagues from school had gone to a different country and they were dating women out of the country because they felt women here weren't doing what they're supposed to do. So they were going out of the country. So this man has been pushing this agenda for a long time. He went on Fox News, you guys. This man loved the limelight. Actually, it probably is still on his YouTube, and Paper Network has it too, guys. So if you guys want to check that out, I don't really want to put that on here, but he actually, oh, and if you check it out, the girl that he was dating on that Fox News interview, it was a beauty queen. So she was a beauty queen from another, I think she was a foreigner. And I was like, that's why this dude over here obsessed with me over here trying to look all my stuff up, my GoFundMe, all this stuff, because he knows I'm in a pageant, right? He talking about, oh, I hope you win and all that. I'm like, oh, so you got a background with beauty queens. Like, what's this man's problem? I'm on sidetrack, guys, right now, but I started putting 2 to 2 together when I saw that that Fox News interview. Paper Network has like a shorter version of it, but if you search for that same interview, it pulls up Kevin's, or the narc attorneys, I'm not even gonna say his name over here anymore, narc attorneys, in my opinion, the narc attorneys video of it. He has a longer video of it, and you should actually watch that, guys, because he was acting, in my opinion, he was acting all ghetto. He was like, see what happened, what, like the way he was talking, it was just, to me it didn't sound like an attorney. It sounded like somebody from the hood. I don't know what he was trying to do. He was trying to be funny, but to me, it wasn't funny. It wasn't looking good. And I was wondering, I'm like, is this man really an attorney acting like this? But yeah, the video's out there, guys. It's floating around. Maybe, you know what I would do, guys? I will attach Paper Network, whatever his name is. I can't even say his full name. I'm going to attach that video from his page on my description. So you can click on the link and get directly to it. And you can just also search for that same video on YouTube, and you can, hopefully you'll pull up the one that narc attorney did as well. It's a longer version of that interview that Paper Network did, or Paper Network posted. So custody of the said minor. So that's number 6 is very imperative. Okay, so here's where they're trying to break down what's the child custody. They're just saying each party should be entitled to telephone the child at all reasonable times. The child should be entitled to telephone of parents at any time. Traditional stuff they do for child custody. Each party should be entitled to participate in all birthday, school, extracurricular activities of the child. Each party should keep the other informed of all events on a regular basis. Again, this is standard language they usually have in these, especially probably the mediator probably gave all this stuff. Not even sure he even went to the mediation. Doesn't show in the record that he went, so they're probably just using standard language. Each party should be equally entitled to access of medical records, hospital, school, all that good stuff. Each party should affirm the other to the child. Neither party should demean the other to the child or within her presence. So gave them instructions of what they should do. This is where we get into the nitty gritty, guys. This is the number. So the 2 important numbers you guys need to highlight if you do print this out is 6 and 9. Okay. This is another deep-rooted core hate, anger that I believe was stemming from this man, in my opinion, of his mindset. Okay, so respondent should pay. They talk about Kevin Samuels. Remember, respondent is interchangeable with Kevin Samuels because he is labeled the respondent on this pleading. Should pay petitioner, that's the wife, Sherry, child support. They do not like child support, you guys. The black man, any man, period, guys, but mostly the black man. They don't like you messing with their money. You touch their money and you are messing on dangerous territory. There has been criminal cases out there, you guys, of black men expiring their girlfriend, spouse, baby mama, whatever, for child support or visitation issues. Actually, if you go on Mr. Narc Attorney's page, if you didn't take it down already, you got to go through some of his videos. He actually talks about when this guy who did the same thing, I guess the first girlfriend that he took, he expired her life. He was on an actual live venting about it before he took her life and was saying, you know, she's put me through all this child custody and all this stuff and child support and all that. And so before he did this, he was telling on the live, he said, so to all you women out there, don't be pushing us men to this. This is what happens. And so and then he's like, oh, there she is. And he goes in and kills her. And then he goes and takes the life of the non-Black woman. So see, these non-Black women, they think they're getting something better. They think, oh yeah, they like that one little post that narc attorney posted of this Latina woman trying to tell Black women, oh, that's why your men are coming to us. Good job. Toodaloo. Go. You're going to get the same Black man. You're not going to get anything different than what we got. So go ahead. We are not, none of us are moved by that. You can date whoever you want to date. It's not an issue. Black women don't have an issue with you dating out of your race or your ethnicity. The issue that Black women have is when you start tearing down the Black woman when you're with that other race. You can date all the other ethnicities all you want. But the issue that we don't like is when you berate us, you bash us, you tear us down, you call us names, ghetto Black women. Stuff like that. That's what we don't like. I mean, just look at the example of George Floyd. He had a non-Black woman, and you can see all the women. Just look at the videos of women all over protesting for this man because you don't see any evidence of him tearing down the Black woman. So that's not our issue. A lot of these Black men think that Black women care about who you date. That's your choice, just like we have a choice. All right, so let's look at this child support because I told you, this is one of those numbers that I believe, guys, stem from some of that deep-rooted anger and some of his commentary and how he was angry at some of these women with children and child support and all these things, okay? Because it seemed like the children was a touchy subject for him in some of his lives. And I really was wondering what was the background behind the man, the background behind, in my opinion, those toxic lives. So respondent should pay petitioner. Let's just do this in layman term. Kevin should pay Sherry a base child support of $299.57 per month on the first day of each month beginning April 1st, 2005, until the minor child is 18 years old of age and through such portion of her 18th birthday year. Further, the respondent is currently delinquent. They're saying you are behind. You're supposed to pay this much, but you're already behind. You're in arrears on child support in the amount of $2,706.13. So not only did he owe this much each month, but now he got to pay back pay. So this enraged him because you guys had to know the thing behind Black men. Black men do not like you messing with their pocketbooks. I mean, look at some of these Fatal Attraction criminal cases. That's a TV show out there. You can just Google some of these, but there are crime reports of Black men taking out their women. When women just file for child custody or women have kids. And even the fact of some of these men knowing that a woman's pregnant, they'll expire the woman because they know that there's that fear of child support coming. They do not like that, you guys, at all. So in my opinion, Kevin Samuels did not like this. This is where that advice came from now. When he told that woman to take him off of child support. It was coming from that bitterness from this divorce, in my opinion. Okay. And probably this arrears or this back delinquent pay was probably because that application of temporary order. Remember, we talked about that when Sherry's attorney filed on her behalf an application of temporary order. I believe in those documents, they asked for, temporary child support and all kinds of things. And he just wasn't complying. That's not why they had to file for the contempt, in my opinion. All right, so he's owing back pay too. Okay, this one's just simple. Each parent needs to pay for childcare. That's just what number 10 says. Each parent who incurs work-related childcare expenses should have the duty to provide documentation, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. Health insurance, this is all traditional stuff. Petitioners should provide, Sherry should provide respondent with all insurance cards. Again, that's traditional stuff, so we don't really need to go in. Let's see where we are into that. We went all the way back, guys. But number 6 and number 9 is truly where a lot of this anger and bitterness towards the Black woman And they think it's just the black woman because, black women, like I said, we have standards. A lot of us, I can't speak for every black woman, but I can tell you this, the black women I know. Number one, we have standards. A lot of times, you're not going to get the cookie for free. Number one, you got to work for it. Number one. Okay. And if we are in a relationship with you, we're going to hold you accountable. Even Toby Obunsali posted something kind of like a post about that, saying how, when he told a black woman about his dreams, talking about he wanted to be a rapper, she was like, you need to get a job. Okay. And then the white girl was like, oh, sure, I believe in your dreams. I'll work 6 or 7 jobs to take care of you and your dream. So you see, that's the mindset of the black men. They think black women have too many standards. Just like Kevin Samuels tried to break down that self-esteem. That's what men do. Men that are toxic, what they want to do is they want to break you down. They want to break down your self-esteem. That's what he was doing. He was breaking the woman down on live, her self-esteem, making her feel like she wasn't worthy or good enough so that she can feel so low about herself that she just takes and puts up with anything, because that's what they want. They want you to put up with all their mess. Like they think the non-black woman does that. They think the non-black woman is a doormat. She'll put up with all the abuse. She'll put up with all the neglect, whatever it is. She doesn't divorce the man. She'll just stick it out. They want the black woman to do that. That's the issue that I feel. In my opinion, I'm really looking deep into this. In my opinion is it's because of the black woman's standards is what they have an issue with, and how we'll walk away from some mess. And yeah, we're going to hold you accountable, say you got to pay child support, because we're not going to do this by ourselves. A lot of our black brothers out there do abandon their kids, in my opinion. I've just seen it in my life. I can only speak for myself. You guys can speak for yourself, but my personal opinion, my personal experiences that I've seen different friends and relationships over the years is that a lot of times black men will walk away from the relationship. The woman is left with the kids. And so she's got to provide for all these mouths all by herself. And so feels she has no choice but to file for child support because she needs something. The man's gone. Just like that woman on the video who Kevin Samuels spoke to, who he told to take him off of child support, she talked about, she said, he's not there. He doesn't take the kids. He's not there for the kids. That's one of the things she said. And so he went into more of that. Well, why isn't he? Oh, I don't know. I don't know why. And he's like, then he went into the child support and was like, take him off child support. Like, that's going to make a difference. It didn't to me, watching that interview, it didn't seem to me like the man really wanted to be in the kid's life. It seemed like he wasn't really even around. Based on her statements, allegedly, I don't know the full details, but based on what she was saying. So it's like a lot of them just leave the kids, with the mother, and now she's left alone trying to, struggle to feed these kids. Sometimes they have to get on government assistance just to survive, A lot of them young, don't have, resources yet because they're still trying to figure out their life. And now they got to take care of all these kids, and the man left. He gone. So, that's why they feel like, okay, I got to get something. I got to go get child support. And so the black men don't like that. They don't like you messing with their money. And so that's why I told you, I feel that some of that deep-rooted hate and anger, in my opinion, this is just an opinion, stemmed from this first marriage, you guys. Because you notice, guys, he was married to the next wife, Tanasha, that we talked about before, and they didn't have kids. You guys, that was on purpose, in my opinion. Kevin Samuels learned from that first marriage. So I believe he talked that second wife into not having kids. Because he was like, if this don't work out, I don't want to deal with this child support stuff. So we ain't having no kids. He probably, during the interview stage when they was dating, he's probably like, do you want kids? Because he learned from that first marriage. He's like, nope, I am not about to go through child custody. Because they don't like you messing with their money. I'm telling you guys, they don't like it. And once you start putting this together and watch the lives and refer to this court document, you will start putting it into perspective. You'll be like, oh, okay, that's why he met. And that's why he's tearing down these black women, guys, because he wants to make them feel low self-esteem, so low about themselves. Because you notice how he tears them down so much, you can even see their face that, it gets to them. It hurts their heart. And it's like that's what abusers do, in my opinion, verbal abusers. They break down the woman's self-esteem to the point where she feels helpless and she just has to just depend on the every word of that abuser, or a narcissist do that too. You guys can look up studies on narcissists. There's tons of videos on YouTube regarding narcissists, and they do the same kind of formula of behavior. They will mentally tear down the woman to the point where they feel so low. They'll do all kinds of mental games with the woman. They'll make her feel like her suspicions about her. Maybe she noticed someone's underwear, maybe this example, someone's underwear maybe in the guy's pocket or smelled perfume or saw lipstick, right? And she can clearly see that. But they will gaslight the heck out of that woman. They'll say, why are you always complaining, man? You're always accusing me of stuff. You never trust me. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, this is why we can't make it in this relationship, because you never believe. Like, they do that. They make the woman, and you know, the woman being so soft, they know how soft women are. Women, we have that heart factor. So they working on your emotions, right? So that's gaslighting. They're making the woman feel like, you know, maybe she's just seeing things. So then she starts questioning herself. She's like, okay, well, maybe I didn't see that lipstick. You know, maybe I'm overreacting. You know, maybe those underwear, maybe that was just my underwear. I just, you know, gained a little bit of weight. You know, they start, you know, they start questioning. This woman, know good and well she saw what she saw. But I'm saying, because they are so good at it, you guys, they will make you think that you are losing your mind. And he did it all on a live. He did it where he was just tearing these women down. Oh, you obese. He was laughing at people saying, yo, mama, suck on these, you know, stuff he was saying, you know, these nuts or whatever he was saying. Just this very just horrible things, just making these women feel so low, because this man was taking out all of his anger and bitterness from his prior relationships onto these women. I wonder if he saw these women, he saw Sherry's face or he saw Tanasha's face. But definitely Sherry. I think this deep rooted was Sherry, because from then on, you could see his behavior where he didn't have any more kids, guys. This man had no more kids. That is something, a fact you got to put together. You got to put together the information we're looking at. This man had no more kids after the first wife. Why? Look at in his mind, he had a bench warrant issued out against him. He had child support issued out against him. He had visitation rights. He couldn't see his kid as much, but it didn't seem like he really cared to see his kid, because people are saying he wasn't really there for the kid anyway, but because he was given visitation, and I don't see any evidence of him. I don't know if he spent time with this kid or not. I mean, people are, you know, all kinds of allegations are out there about him just not being around. So that part. So like, that's what he had, the anger. He took that into all those lives. And now he's over here going off on all these women because of his prior experiences that he never dealt with. A hurt man hurting people. Remember, hurt people hurt people. This man was hurt. So he went out and hurt different women. Now, yes, we got people on his little live talking about all the things he did for them. That's good, but there's a whole other side. There's a dark side to this. Yes, he may have helped people. He helped a lot of men because they love seeing these women being bashed, because they all were bitter. A lot of them, they're all the same dude, you guys. They had the same thing happen to them. So they all are sitting there enjoying seeing this woman being torn down, because they have all experienced the child support. They didn't want to these men don't want to be responsible for their kids. They want to just go around, plant their seeds, and go about their life. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want you touching their pockets. So all those men were bitter men sitting there watching Kevin Samuels tear down each of these women, enjoying it because they saw their different baby mamas, girlfriends, whatever, who got them on child support or whatever, you know, left them, had standards, held them accountable for the stuff they were doing. Because like Kevin Samuels told us, guys, Kevin Samuels told us 4 years ago that men don't like listening to their mess. He said, but if I bash women, I'll get a bunch of likes. And what happened? Go to his videos. Go back to him when he first started. Look at the number. I mean, the numbers probably are higher now, because those men are probably going back trying to look at it now. But I mean, at the time when he was coming up, he wasn't getting much views. He wasn't going viral on those when he was trashing men. He wasn't going viral. As soon as he started trashing a woman, saying she's average at best and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo, now all of a sudden he's a celebrity. He's getting all these followers. He's getting subscribers. Because that's the mindset of a lot of these men, guys. They don't like to hear their mess. They don't like you guys holding them accountable. They don't like you guys filing for divorce and walking away. Oh, you guys, there's actually, okay, you guys have to watch that full interview from a narc attorney. The one I told you about that's on Fox News. Google it on YouTube, because he actually talks about it. And he says, oh, these women be filing for divorce and leaving us stuff. He's speaking exactly what I'm saying. In the Fox News interview a couple years ago, narc attorney said that. He said, you know, these women out here divorcing these men, they don't like it, guys. They want you to be a doormat, in my opinion. They want you to sit there and take all of whatever they do. You know, Kevin Samuels' theory. He wants you to share your man. So they want you to agree to polygamy, basically. Let them go out and sleep with whoever they want. All right. They don't want to have any responsibilities, in my opinion. They just want you to sit around and just take it all in. But see, Black women aren't like that. We one of the different ethnic groups out there that have standards, in my opinion. Okay, we will hold you accountable. We will speak up for ourselves. We will advocate if we see something isn't right, and we will hold you accountable. We will look into the stuff, and if you're not treating us right, we're gonna sit and talk to you and say, look, you're not doing this and this and this. What's going on? But a lot of the non-Black women that they're going for is a lot of times they will just take the abuse for many years. They'll stay married to these guys. That's why you see a lot of the interracial couples. There was a guy out there telling me, well, interracial couples, Black men with other women, they last longer. Well, it's because the women are willing to put up with all the mess. Black women aren't. That's the key difference. That's the key difference. And that is the reason why, in my opinion, a lot of these Black men are angry. They got many, many years of anger built up, you guys, because of women, Black women, holding them accountable. All right, so let's look more into this. Respondent should be ordered to pay and to indemnify, hold petitioner harmless from all claims, loss, demand, and liability form following separate non-marital debts. Respondent to with all debts in his name. Okay, so they're saying any debts in his name, you're going to absolve her of any of that responsibility. So here they finalized the divorce. He said the parties are divorced and the marital relationship is terminated and dissolved, which decree is final on this date. The parties are admonished to be in compliance with the law of the state prohibiting remarriage of the parties, except to each until 6 months pass from this date. The one thing I did notice on, we're talking about Tanasha, and we said we're not sure if they got the divorce. I noticed on one of the YouTubers I just talked about, Paper Network, he did a story on it, and he thought that they're divorced, but he skipped over a key part. There's actually a part in the video where he skips over, and it says dismissal. He didn't read that part, but that shows that that pleading was dismissed. You can see here, though, allegedly, guys, but you can see here, though, they actually are telling you in the court order the parties are divorced and the marital relationship is terminated. That's what you need to see, and dissolved. We didn't see that for the second wife. Till this day, we haven't seen that. We just saw that during the proceedings, it was dismissed. So again, there goes Mr. Narc Attorney over here trying to spew all this misinformation, in my opinion, and not giving us any form of receipts. See, we're bringing receipts. We're showing you the court information. Although alleged, we're showing you actual, sources. He's not giving you one source. He's just telling you stuff with not one receipt at all, period. But yet he want to come to all these YouTubers harassing, stalking, doxing, disclosing our personal information so his enraged crowd can try to find and harm us, in my opinion, because there's a track record. There's some people out there saying allegedly stuff. And I'm going to show you a comment from a young lady here. Secondly, but, he's out here doing that, right? And, he's not showing us any proof. Like, I'm showing you guys court records that you can pull for yourself just by pulling up the number. What is he showing us? Nothing. So how are we to believe? Are we to look at this actual court document that's filed, or some person online who's just saying things that support his personal agenda, in my opinion? And then you got to ask, why is this man so enraged? Why is he stalking, harassing, trying to get people's channels taken down, allegedly? Why is he doing all this? There's got to be something he's trying to hide. What is he trying to hide? Now that makes me suspicious of him because, see, at first we weren't even looking at him, but now we're like, this man is trying to keep something secret. Every time we disclose something or we look at a source online and things that are reported or what we find, out there, he gets angry. He's so enraged, like it's like it's him involved. Okay, like I said, I understand he's deceased. May he rest in peace. But this is a historical now record of this person's life. It's normal to look at people's lives. You could look all over line. Like I said, I talked about Hitler as one example, but there's all kinds of crime cases out there where people talk about the deceased and their life, whether good or bad, any crime show, any Dateline, all that stuff. Go on people's YouTubes. They'll tell you different stories, whether good or bad. It's just a part of, analyzing someone's life. We're not over here celebrating. We're not over happy. We're sad. This guy died really young. I think he was 50. Guys, I'm terrible at math. I'm good at law, but not at math anyways. But I think he's 53 or 54 based on 1969. The court record has his birthday is 1969. But he was young, guys. He was really young. That's too young to die, guys. Something about this case doesn't feel right. And then I'm getting, personally, stalked and harassed over a story, over just doing what I normally like to do as a hobby, a side little hobby. I'm being stalked and harassed and all these disgusting, toxic, angry black men in my comments saying all kind of disgusting things, which you guys don't get to see because I just delete it and block. But it's like, seriously, what are you guys trying to hide? It makes us more suspicious. Like, man, we need to keep looking into this story. What is going on? We need to find out, what are they trying to hide, you guys? You see all the anger coming out just because we looking into a story. This is what we would do for any person if we're interested in it. If it's a juicy case, we're going to look into it. And this is a public figure. He's a celebrity, basically. He made TMZ and all these other outlets, guys. He is a public figure at this point. 1.46 million subscribers. That's a lot of people. So that's what you do at public figures. You look up their life. I mean, we look at all kind of celebrities. You guys can go on YouTube and you'll see different stories about, Cardi B or all the different people out there, Nicki Minaj, everybody. He interviewed Nicki Minaj and all these different celebrities. I think Future too, So he was up there. He was starting to really get a lot of notoriety, especially amongst some of the other celebrities that were really, meeting with this guy. So this is a public figure. That's what you're gonna do then. That's what comes with the territory. You can't be online trying to go viral, trying to get all these subscribers and not expect there's consequences. There's consequences to that. You become a public figure. Once those numbers start rising up and you get into the millions, and now you got celebrities reaching out to you, you are now a public figure and people want to know your business. People want to know, what is your life? Okay? And anybody who is around you can be affiliated with trying to have that temporary public figure aspect, because it's like now they're around and connected to you, which is why Hortensia came into the picture, because she was around him. So people want to know, okay, what was this girl doing around him? They want to look into her now. It's just it's a natural form of any person. But these people are, going out harassing different people's channels. He's instructing his viewers. He's telling them he's not going to give them the autopsy reports until they go out and get our pages taken down, strike our pages for wrong reasons and all these things that we're not even doing. And hopefully YouTube actually looks at my videos before they just blindly, I don't know if you guys know about YouTube. I'm not, sure with that part, but they actually look at my videos to see I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just, reporting the information out here and talking about it, having an open dialogue. That's under the Constitution. I have a right to do that. So look, petitioner here, the wife, she restored her former last name to Cravens, which is good. She didn't want that Samuel's name anymore, which is ordered immediately and effectively. That's typically what happens in a marriage. They can decide to keep their last name or go with their maiden name. She said, I don't want nothing to do with this man. I'm done. Custody of the said minor child is awarded to the petitioner, and the respondent is awarded visitation with her in accordance with the court's modified visitation schedule attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. Each party shall be entitled to telephone and all this stuff. Again, this is traditional stuff, guys, so we don't have to worry about that. They're ordered to pay a proportion of the child support. We went over all this. I think this is very redundant. They talk about health expenses, all that, the federal tax dependency. They have certain exemptions. It's awarded to the petitioner. The reason why the federal tax dependent exemption for the minor child was awarded to her is because she's the primary. They ordered her as the primary caretaker. So whoever's a primary, they usually are going to give them that tax dependent exemption. I don't think he liked that either. All these things going for her favor, but it's like, they're like, Mr. Samuels, this is your fault though. You did it. If you just showed up, if you just listened to the judge, maybe this case would have turned out differently. Maybe they would have given you guys joint custody. You chose to not show up. So the judge had no choice. He was like, well, yeah, you're right. They filed the application. They're like, you're right. He's not compliant. So I'm just going to make this ruling, accordingly. He's not, it's his fault. See, I told you, that's the problem. They do these things and then they want to turn around and blame the woman. Now he blaming her, saying, oh, this is all her fault. But he didn't look at the fact that he wasn't complying. Allegedly. Okay. They had to issue a bench warrant. They had to arrest him. Allegedly. But you guys can look this stuff up yourself. Just to get him to show up to court. But it's all her fault. All right. Respondent is ordered to pay and to indemnify and hold petitioner harmless from all these type of bills. This was his bills too, at 972 temporary debts from November 2003 through 2004. So he had all kind of debts. $750 cell phone bill. So this man's over here running up cell phones. You got some debt here. Well, wonder she probably was ready to leave him. He not even, in my opinion, managing the finances. She probably like, man, what you doing? Run up all these bills. I can't afford all this. $403 for relocation moving expenses. So man, he up here running up bills, allegedly, based on this filed stamped copy from the judge, Greg Walker, who was assigned this case in Oklahoma, March 4, 2005. All right. They said attorney's fees, litigation expenses, and costs are to be paid by the respondent. See, that's the danger of these civil cases. We got these people out here trying to file all these frivolous lawsuits just because people are executing their constitutional right to, look at sources online, to give their opinions based on the allegations out there. And they want to file these frivolous cases. But see, there's a consequence to that. Because in civil court, you can be ordered, if you're not complying, if you're filing all these frivolous charges and frivolous cases all out the blue, you can be required by the judge, like they did for him because he wasn't complying. He had to pay her attorney's fees. He had to pay her litigation expenses. He had to pay all of that. And yeah, I know, guys, the little flying monkeys are in my chat right now because I told you the narc attorneys over there advising and instructing them to come harass me. So I want to keep a record of all this chat because that's going to be used as my evidence. So I'm not going to block them. I'm going to let them keep posting that and keep getting my little evidence there. So those of you that are here subscribed, don't worry about them. All right, so you can see here, there was a consequence by that, paid by the respondent, right? So he had to pay. Remember, he's our respondent. He had to pay because he wasn't complying. They had to get him a default. It was in her favor. So now he got to pay attorney's fees, and who knows how much that costs. So not only does he have to pay child support, he has back pay of over $2,000. Now he got to pay attorney's fees, and that can rack up. Attorney's fees, guys, can be really, really expensive. Okay. So there it is. We've got Sherry. She signed down there. She agreed, and I don't know where Mr. Rashawn is. Kevin Samuels, I don't see him anywhere on here, guys. He's gone. He didn't sign, so I don't know if he was there that day. Maybe he was just not there. And they had to appear ex parte because he wasn't there. Okay. Order entering modified visitation. So they had to modify the visitation. So this is just the court order for that, guys. They said the non-custodial parent shall have visitation every other weekend. So this is what they're saying. Kevin Samuels could have non-custodial parent visitation every other weekend. So he was seeing his daughter every other weekend from Friday after school or daycare until Sunday evening at 6 p.m. So every other weekend he had her. So that was probably like, it depends on the month. So if it's like, a traditional month, then that would be about two weekends, and 3 if it's like a longer month. He was able to see her. So if he had any bone, I don't know how he felt about his daughter, who knows? But if he actually cared about her, that could make somebody formulate resentment in their heart. So that was an added weight, guys, you have to look at, as he wasn't really given a lot of visitation. So again, this is what a lot of these black men feel. They don't like it. They feel like the black woman's trying to take their kids away, not let them see their kids. But again, probably none of this would have happened if he just would have came to court, if he just would have went to mediation, if he would have just showed up. So this is the consequences of, his choices, in my opinion, allegedly. All right. So they're giving him all these odd years, even years for these different holidays. So custodial parent for the even years, she gets the spring break. Odd years, he gets, spring break, and so forth. I'm not going to go into all that. But every other year she gets the even years. He gets the odd years for the holidays. Mother's Day, that makes sense that they spend time with she spends time with the mother. Father's Day, spends time with the father. Who knows if he actually even did all this? I don't know. I don't know the guy's relationship with his child. There's different people's allegations out there. But this could have harbored some resentment in his heart. And it could show why he had a lot of resentment on those lives. And, you know, women, when they have kids, or they're getting the guy for child support, or if they say they believe their kid and they leave him. Oh, he don't like the, when a woman's about to leave. Oh no, look at those lives, guys. He be getting angry on those lives. And it's like, where's all this anger coming from? You don't even know this lady. She's just trying to get advice. I believe it stemmed from this first marriage, y'all. I really do. I really do. Okay. Child support computation for one child. So remember I told you guys how they'll take the different formulas and they will calculate. This is what this worksheet is. They're calculating how much he owes based on, you know, that formulaic review. And that's pretty much the whole document for that. So we had to really go through that document because I told you we're going to take our time going through these court documents. So that was the dilution, the divorce decree we went through. So the divorce is now final on March 7th, 2005. But this case did not end, you guys. It was a whole lot of other stuff that happened down the line. So let's take a look. So 12/15/2006, that's a whole year later. Motion to modify. Divorce order for custody, child support. So something must have happened because they want to modify. Something happened in that situation that caused a change in circumstance, basically, for them to file. Oklahoma Court Information System revolving fund, court clerk administrative fee on collections, statutory fee. Okay, so 12/15, entry of appearance, attorney Stephen ditto for respondent. So now, see, okay, now Kevin Samuels, one thing, you guys, he learned from this past situation. He was like, look, I cannot appear pro se anymore. I need me an attorney. So that's the one thing he did right. He was like, you know what, I'm about to get me an attorney this time. One thing he did right. So here's now his attorney that enters on appearance. That's Kevin Samuels' attorney at the time, Stephen M. Ditto for him. I mean, if you guys want to see that document, we'll pull it up just so you guys can see it. But it's just basically just a standard form showing who his attorney is now. Because he shaped up. He was like, I'm not coming here by myself. All right. So they have to usually, when they're going to appear on behalf and now represent someone, they have to file an entry of appearance to let the court know, hey, I'm going to be representing this guy now. So that's this guy, Stephen M. Ditto. He did that. He says, enters his appearance as attorney of record, respondent herein. The respondent is Kevin Samuels. So that's, he shaped up. He got his little attorney. He was like, So the first thing this attorney did is he's trying to now clean up this guy's situation now. So he files an application to withdraw the bench warrant, first of all. Then he files a petition to vacate, or in the alternative, motion to modify, motion for accounting. He's doing a couple work trying to help this guy out. All right, these are all the fees associated with that. Again, like I told you how they do this, they ask for a retainer, and then they also ask you to give them the fees here, and then you give that to your attorney, and the attorney pays it for you. So that's what he did. He paid those fees for Kevin. 12/20/2006, return of service for EAA, apt to withdraw bench warrant served personally on Sherry LaShawn, blah, blah. So they're trying to withdraw. They want to take back, you know, that bench warrant. So that was served on her, return of service. She was personally served that document. See, this has been a long proceeding. This is why this man is mad. This is why. Certified, I received the following, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there that is. That's proof of service. Remember I was telling you they have to show proof of service? That's what that form was. They have to give that to the court to prove that they actually served the other party, their documents. Oh, okay. So entry of appearance by attorney or Thanel for a petitioner. So it's the same thing. Now she got her a new attorney. Because now this is getting rolled into action. There's something going on with their case. They got to go ahead and they got to get their attorneys on board. I don't know why this has entry of. I'm trying to get to this one. So let's see. There we go. Okay. So filed. We know where it was filed, in the District Court of Oklahoma, State of Oklahoma. So petitioner Sherry Samuels files her appearance in this action through counsel Orethanel Denson, who is her new attorney. Requests all further correspondence being sent to that office. Because this is all part of the proceedings. If, like I said, whenever you have a new attorney, they got to file that notice of appearance to show that they are now the attorney on record for that person, representing that person. Okay, so let's go more into this. Petitioner's response to respondent's motion to modify motion for accounting. Okay, I think he's trying to modify the child support. Let's look. So she responded to whatever his petition was. Let's see. All right, there we are. Okay, so petitioner's response. So she's responding to his motion to modify. He wanted to modify it. Remember, back up, he filed his motion through his attorney to modify. Now she's responding. She's saying, petitioner denies one of the respondent's motion. She agrees with two of the respondent's motions. So she's telling you the different things that she denies or agrees to, whatever those agreements are. So petitioner's counterclaim and request for modification of child support. See, he was trying to modify that child support. He was like, I can't be paying this $266. He got an attorney. And denial of respondent's request that this court modify the divorce decree. Okay? So he got an attorney because he realized he messed up when he failed to appear. And they issued that default. That default ended up going in her favor because he just wasn't around, allegedly, based on his court records. And so he went and got an attorney to see if he can get this stuff fixed. Right? So petitioner would allege and state as her counterclaim as follows. Respondent was very aware of the existence of the divorce decree and the terms therein. Both parties subsequently discussed the divorce decree and the terms therein. Respondent received notice of the application for contempt at the address that was of record as respondent's residential address at the time of the application for contempt was filed and mailed via certified mailing to respondent's residential address. They're saying, look, he had notice, he was aware. Because I guess in their complaint, allegedly, they're saying they weren't aware. Kevin Samuels' attorney saying he wasn't aware, basically. And the wife here, the petitioner, she's saying, he was well aware. He knew about the divorce decree. He just didn't comply. That's what her allegation is, allegedly. Respondent never informed the court nor the petitioner of another residential address, and that the petitioner did not know that the respondent was living in Texas. So here's, sucking out. Now this all makes sense. You know how we found who's dating who, and we were trying to figure out how he got to Texas? This man relocated to Texas after that divorce. So he was running, or during the divorce, he was running, in my opinion. He didn't want to deal with the divorce. That's why he wasn't complying, in my opinion. So he came back to court now he saw that there's this divorce decree. He got to pay child support. The woman now gets primary custody. Oh, he mad. He mad. So he had his attorney come in there. He got him an attorney. He tried to say, oh, I didn't know. I wasn't even in the state. That's why I didn't know about it. You know, I had no idea. She didn't serve me because I wasn't even there. I was in Texas. And this is all allegations, guys. But this is what she's saying. She said he was very much aware of the existence of the divorce decree. That's what her attorney said here. Very much aware. All right. She said he knew. She's saying he didn't tell me that he had another residential address, and the petitioner didn't know the respondent was living in Texas. So he relocated from Oklahoma, allegedly, based on these court records here, from Oklahoma to Texas during the divorce proceedings. I'm wondering if he was trying to avoid the whole process, just trying not to even finish the whole court thing, and why they issued that default in the first place. We just went through that whole part right there, guys. You guys got to go back to that part. But that's interesting, right? He went to Texas. That makes sense, guys. Now how he met Tanasha, because Tanasha was in Dallas, Texas. So that makes sense. Oh, that's how he met Tanasha, because I was wondering how he ended up in Texas. So he relocated, allegedly. Respondent should have been aware of both the application for contempt, all right, and the bench warrant herein. Okay, because notices of the same were sent to respondent's last known and provided residential address. So respondent should have been aware of both the application for contempt and the bench warrant herein, because notices of the same were sent to his last known provided residential address. Because he's trying to say he didn't have notice. That's what his claim was with his attorney, is that he didn't have notice. He was now living in Texas. So, this whole default thing was not, entered just, in a fair way, basically. That's his claim, right? But she's saying, we sent it to your last known residential address. You did not let us know. Petitioner did not know that he went over to Texas. She's saying you can't come now claim you didn't have notice. That was her allegation, allegedly. The fact that the divorce decree herein did not reserve the order authorizing the issuance of a bench warrant does not in any manner invalidate or eradicate the same that had already been properly granted after respondent willfully and continuously failed to appear in court. Remember we talked about those failures to appear, despite the resetting of multiple court dates. All right? They say laying it out. They laying out the history, allegedly. And as you remember us reading the default, in that default, they said for 3 times they had asked him to come and he didn't appear. That's what the default document, court document we looked at. That's what the judge said in his final, his decision over there regarding the default and the divorce. So that's what they're saying. They're saying, court, remember, he just didn't come. He wasn't there. After multiple attempts to try to get him to come to court, they're saying he didn't come. He knew. That's what they're saying, allegedly. Okay? That the order should not have been withdrawn because the respondent had reasonable notice. They're saying, we told you, we let you know your last known address. You had a reasonable notice of the pre-scheduled court appearances wherein respondent did not appear and rightfully obtained a default judgment against him. So they're trying to get this, Kevin Samuels' attorney is trying to get this judgment, that default judgment that we saw, he's trying to get it overturned. He's trying to make an excuse that his client wasn't given proper notice. His client was living in Texas. They're saying allegedly, Sherry's attorney is saying allegedly that they notified the last known address, that she wasn't aware that he relocated to Texas. He left the state, y'all. This man, in my opinion, was really trying to avoid finalizing this divorce because he knew what was coming down the line. He knew. He knew there was going to be a child custody judgment. They don't like that child custody stuff. He knew they were going to have to deal with, child support or child custody visitation. He didn't want to deal with that. So he just left. He just left on to Texas, didn't say a word. I feel like, in my opinion, he was trying to avoid service. He didn't want to be, he want to make this excuse later on, come back to court like he did, in my opinion, and now claim up and down that he didn't know. This is a mess, you guys, a mess. And this is these black men's God. Now it makes sense why they worship this man so much. Guys, it makes a lot of sense now, because a lot of them dudes that worship Kevin Samuels are just like him. They're just like him. They got a bunch of child support, probably in the arrears. They feel like these women are taking their kids away from them. And they walk around, these angry black men. They just angry. They are angry, guys. Angry at the black woman. And they take it out on all the black women. They got these hate channels now talking about black women. Go to the narc attorney over there. He got a whole his channel all about, going to other countries. We're not appreciated here. They don't look at themselves in the mirror. They don't like to hear that. That's why you see Kevin Samuels had to change his whole formula around. They don't look at that stuff. They don't. Guys, this is just too much. This is juicy, though. Let's keep going. So they said, respondent was very well aware of my client's co-pays related to uncovered insurance. Uncovered insurance, but has never paid his share of the same. Guys, this can't get any better. I can't make this stuff up, guys. We pulled this. You guys saw that I went to the court website. I showed you the filed stamped copy. This is stamped in the court records. He was not paying his other share of the health insurance for the kid. Allegedly. That's what they're alleging. That's what the wife is alleging. She's saying she paid her co-pays. She had to pay co-pays related to uncovered insurance, in her opinion. I mean, allegedly. But he has never paid his share of the same. That's just pitiful. Not only was he over here fleeing to Texas, allegedly, he's not helping with the child's health co-pays. She over here having to cover the fees. That's, no wonder, Paper Network, that man is on the paper, guys. He is just, y'all need to go check his channel out. He's good. He is good. He got all the court records, guys. He got criminal records. The criminal records aren't really there. I mean, the guy, he just got the bench warrant. That's mainly what I've seen. But anyway, he's got all the paperwork over there. He's got even the funeral. I got a lot of you flying monkeys from Narc's channel over there, Narc Attorney's channel. So I know that he's hanging over your head. I was telling you guys earlier, your little funeral viewings and your autopsy stuff. Well, Paper Network knows exactly where Mr. Samuel's body is. He knows where the funeral home is. So if your little narc attorney's over there trying to give you orders to harass us like you're doing, evidence here in the chat, you can go head over to Paper Network's channel. He will be streaming the memorial live. Guys, I can't make this stuff up. This is why this case is so juicy. All the stuff in this thing. I mean, like, why watch one of those soap operas when you could just look at these records here? All right. Okay. Let's keep going. So that the bench warrant should not have been withdrawn because the respondent willfully and intentionally failed to provide either the respondent or the court with his updated residential address. Y'all, he didn't even tell his ex-wife or the counsel his updated address. He just left the state, went on to Texas. He knew it good and well because we saw him appear. We saw him respond to the divorce in the first place because we went through that whole record so far. And we saw, guys, that he was aware that he was in the middle of a divorce and this man picked up and moved. Oh my gosh, he picked up and moved, y'all, in the middle of a divorce and didn't even let her know where he was. What does that sound like to y'all? It sounded like he was hiding, right? They don't know where he is. They had to, notify his last known address because he didn't tell them that. Allegedly, that's what they're alleging. None of us was there, but that's what she's saying. That the bench warrant should not be withdrawn because respondent did not inform petitioner that he had moved to the state of Texas. Oh my goodness. He in the middle of a divorce, got a little toddler child, and he don't tell anybody that he left. Allegedly. That the respondent was aware of the divorce proceedings and has previously appeared at the temporary order held January 22, 2004, and filed an answer herein, but purposefully and willfully kept his new residence from the petitioner and her attorney. All right? They're saying he purposefully and willfully. Okay, let's go back to this. Is really good. Number 11 is really good, guys, so I need to break this one down. That the respondent, they're talking about Kevin, was aware of the divorce proceedings. Allegedly he was. Like I said, he appeared, he responded, he was there at first, and all of a sudden he just stopped coming. Okay, that's allegedly, that's what the court records are showing. and had previously appeared at a temporary order. And that was on January 22, 2004. And we saw that in the records. We saw that he came in court and filed an answer. Remember, we went over that too. You guys got to go back to the beginning of the video where we went over that, where he responded. I told you guys how the respondent submitted his answer to the petition. That means he's responding. So he knew. That's what they're saying. He knew. They're just laying out the facts to show they think he knew, right? And they said he purposefully, willfully kept his new address, Texas address, mind you, from the petitioner and her attorney, which rightfully led to a valid default divorce. This man knew about the proceedings, guys. In the very middle of the divorce, allegedly, he left his daughter and just left the state. Oh, he left Oklahoma, y'all. And he went all the way to Texas, didn't tell anybody where he was, and just thought this was just going to go away. Didn't want to be responsible, didn't want to be held accountable. And now he want to come back to court and act like he's the victim, like a lot of these black men do. They want to act like they're the victim. Oh, she did me wrong. She get me for child custody. Oh, she did me wrong. She divorced me. She left me. She held me accountable. Y'all need to submit. Y'all need to just not say anything. Don't complain at all. Just do what I say. Don't ever get a divorce. Don't file child support. Just stay there as a little doormat and do as you're told. In my opinion, that seems like the mindset here. It's just my opinion, guys. Take it or leave it. That the respondent has still willfully and capriciously failed to abide by the terms of this court order by failing to remit payment to petitioner $972 for temporary debt that was accrued herein. Dang, y'all. They said Kevin Samuels willfully and capriciously failed to abide by the terms of this court order by failing to remit payment to petitioner of $972 for temporary debt that was accrued herein. He didn't even give her the $972 she was owed. Allegedly. That's what she said. I didn't say it. She said, I'm just reading out loud what they're saying. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, but I'm reading what she said. Her words. That the respondent, that's Kevin Samuels again, has still willfully and capriciously failed to abide by the terms of this court order by failing to remit payment to the petitioner of $403 for expenses associated with relocating. This man is not paying his debts to her, $972, now $403, allegedly. Guys, you guys can calculate up this money. All right? That Kevin Samuels, basically, has still willfully and capriciously failed to abide by the terms of the court order by failing to remit payment to the petitioner of $750 pertaining to the use of a cellular telephone. Remember those debts we were talking about in the default judgment? They're saying he didn't even comply with that order. They're saying he's supposed to pay all these bills and he never even paid it. Allegedly. That's what she's saying. Look what he is bringing this poor woman through, allegedly. She had to come to court, respond to this mess, in my opinion, because Mr. Samuels wasn't doing his job. Is that a high-value man to you? How is this man qualified to define what a high-value man is, in my opinion, when he was not operating as a high-value man? Was he? A man that's not paying his bills. He gave us all the definition. He's supposed to have $10,000, all this stuff, being an elite group and all this, but he's not paying any of his bills to the other woman based on a court order. He's leaving this whole entire state to go all the way to Texas. That right there, guys, I lost it when I saw that. I was like, I'm done. I'm done, y'all. This man left the whole state. Is that high value? Ladies, is that high value to you? This man left the whole state. Didn't, I guess he forgot he had a whole child in Oklahoma. Didn't think about her at all. He even had visitation. They said he can have the child every other weekend, but he didn't left the whole state. Abandoned, in my opinion, his responsibilities as a father, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Abandoned his responsibilities as a whole entire father. But that's high value to you guys. This is your God, right? Right, black man? This is your God, a man that flees responsibility, right? Not paying the bills that the court ordered, right? Failing to appear in court, having a bench warrant issued, having to be arrested just to get the man into the courthouse. That's your high value man? I don't know, y'all. Make it make sense. He sat there on all these lives, tearing down all these women. So now we get to look at him and give him some advice now. See, I already been talking about Kevin Samuels before he passed away. Just because he passed away doesn't mean we get to stop now. No, there's no rule. There's no law that says you can't talk about someone who's passed away. People do it all the time on YouTube. If you don't like it, you're clearly torturing yourself by watching it. You are obsessed with hearing all this information. So it's your fault. It's your fault. You don't have to watch. You can avert your eyes. It's called freedom of speech. You can avert your eyes. Move on. Go somewhere else. But you're watching it, so it's your fault by torturing yourself. So continue to listen on about your little God. Let's keep going. That the respondent cannot provide receipts reflecting payments of said debts, as stated by counsel for respondent, December 22nd, 2006. That the respondent has not traveled to Oklahoma City every weekend to visit the minor child. Woo! Number 16, y'all. Y'all need to look at number 16. Look at number 16. I want y'all to read that deep. Okay, let's read this real slow. They're alleging this, but here's what she's saying. That Kevin Samuels, basically respondent, has not traveled to Oklahoma City every weekend to visit the minor child herein. He hasn't even been visiting his child. But yet he over here clowning these different women on the live, telling them how they're keeping their kid away from the father and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo and the child support and get that all away from them. But he wasn't even coming to see his kid. He just left it. Like he's starting over in life. Clear, blank slate. That's what they think. They think they can just go around victimizing these different women, in my opinion, and then just abandon everything and start all over again. That's what he was doing. To visit the minor child herein, as stated by counsel for respondent on December 22nd, 2006. At the hearing to withdraw the bench warrant herein. Okay? As stated by counsel for respondent on December 22nd, 2006, at the hearing to withdraw the bench warrant herein. So he hasn't even been, she claims allegedly that he wasn't even coming to visit his kid. Left the kid, everything. Just left his whole life. Start anew, right? That this court modify respondent's child support obligation to reflect both the parties' current incomes, that's in compliance, changes in the cost of insurance costs and fees associated with daycare. The respondent failed to pay reimburse petitioner's attorney's fees that were assessed during the said divorce proceedings. That respondent has failed, in her opinion, to reimburse her for the attorney's fees. Remember, we looked at that default judgment from the court, and the court ordered him to pay his ex-wife's attorney's fees. Because remember, he didn't comply. He was in default, allegedly, what the judge was saying. And as a form, of, in my opinion, a punishment, like they said, you got to pay her attorney's fees that were assessed because you weren't in compliance. You just weren't around. So he hasn't paid that yet. All these bills he hasn't paid, he just left. Not listening to court orders. And this is a high value man. Make it make sense. You can't be over here giving advice to people and you're not paying your bills. You're not complying with court orders. You're not taking care of your kids. You abandon your kid. You go all the way to another state. Allegedly, this is all the stuff she's saying. Who knows if it's true, but she's saying it, and she put it in a court document that she filed with the court. Okay? She said the respondent has failed to reimburse petitioner for the minor child's education-related expenses. He's not paying, he's not co-paying on the child's expenses. We saw there allegedly about the insurance. Now he's not paying the child's education expenses, allegedly. He just completely abandoned any form of responsibility. But this man's out here giving women advice and men advice. Oh, man, this is a picture of how a lot of these black men are that are over there worshiping Kevin Samuels. They have probably similar backgrounds, and so that's why they loved Kevin Samuels so much, because they had this same type of background. They had so much anger in them, in my opinion. In my opinion. Petitioner requests that this court set these matters for hearing on January 18, 2008, and that the court deny respondent's motion to vacate. Now, just a disclaimer, I have no dislike towards black men at all. I love everybody, like I said. But hey, we looking at this case, and there's some things we need to analyze, and we just got to look at the mindset that we believe, in our opinion, is behind these men, and why they worship Kevin Samuels so much, why they got so much anger towards black women, why they just, are declaring war against a woman. Like, that's just some disturbing stuff, y'all. They're not picking on other men. They're coming after women. That's sick. It's very sick. Cold and deprived mind. So as you can see, it was signed by the attorney. So these are her allegations. All right, that's their arguments. But it's pretty interesting arguments if you ask me. Allegedly. Okay, so there was her response. So here as we're looking at the record here, on January 9th, 2007 here, bench warrant for failure to comply with order recalled. So the court went ahead and recalled that. They basically took it back. And that was for Sherry LaShawn Samuels there, according to this here. You can see her name as the person involved in that, allegedly. January 18th, 2007, George Walker, that's the judge, remember him? Walker, motion to vacate continued. That means they just moved the court date to another date. They moved it to March 7th, 2007. Court reporter fee trials on the merits. So they had to charge fees. Now we're in a hearing, March 7th, 2007. George Walker, that's the judge. Motion to modify child support sustained to be paid instanter. Motion to vacate decree withdrawn. Citation dismissed. Okay. Issue of transportation continued to March 23rd, visitations as to standard visitation without supervision, court reporter Marla Hill. So they sustained the motion to modify the child support, so that went in his favor. Motion to vacate, decree withdrawn, citation dismissed. All right, so that's what happened on that court date. They continued the issue of transportation. So I think that was related to the fact that now he's in Texas and, the kid is still in Oklahoma. They probably wanted to, argue basically about how this kid's going to have to, they're going to do the visitation if he's all the way in Texas, basically. That's what I think, allegedly. Notice of filing, March 23rd. Partial transcript of proceedings had on the 7th day of March, 2007, before the Honorable, I keep calling him George, guys. His name is, so I got his name wrong. His name is Gary. Sorry, guys. Gary Walker, whatever. Special judge in and for Oklahoma County Clerk, County, Oklahoma. So they did a partial transcript of the proceedings on the 7th day of March, 2007. They didn't give us a copy of that, so we weren't able to read that. Gary, the judge again, both parties present with counsel, so he actually starting to show up now. I guess he learned his lesson. Issue of transportation visitation. Remember, I told you I thought that's what it was, and that's what it's saying. Issue of transportation visitation to be borne by parties on their pro rata share visitation as per standard visitation. Motion to settle, set. Court reporter Marla Hill. All right, so it looks like they were basically filing a motion regarding the transportation as it relates to visitation for the child, and they're saying, well, you guys have to bear the expenses borne by parties on their pro rata share. So they're going to have to just divide the expenses based on their pro rata share visitation as per standard visitation standard. So they're just going to have to, make the payments based upon their share. Basically, that's what the court decided when they had that hearing. And then they did a court minute for that hearing to document what happened, basically. So that's what happened on that day. They're still talking about the court minute. Let's take a look at the court minute, guys. We have the PDF. So like I said, we're taking a look at this man's little track record here. May he rest in peace, but we still have a right to look, right? All right. So Sherry in the District of Court of County, State of Oklahoma. Remember these weird handwriting ones? This is 2007. There's the petitioner here. And then there's Kevin Samuel here, right? There's the court date or the court filing number. We talked about that case number. There's the attorney for both parties, Orthenal and Stephen now. He's got an attorney. So that's one thing he learned. He learned he had to get an attorney. So March 7, 2007, we got our Judge Walk. I kept saying his name wrong though. Jerry Rock, guys. I keep getting that man's name wrong. Okay. Respondent's motion to vacate. Petitioner request to deny, modify. I think she said, oh, that's really small. I can't read that, guys. Modify child support. That's what it looked like to me. The parties having appeared, the petitioner being represented by attorney Orthenal and the respondent being represented by Stephen Ditto, the court hearing heard argument orders as follows. 1. The respondent will be granted standard visitation without supervision. Okay, so they gave him standard visitation. The tax dependency exemption will be alternated between the parties. Okay, so he did get something in his favor. They're now, at first, you remember when at the default judgment, it was all for her, but now they're alternating the years, where a respondent's first tax year to claim the minor will be 2008 and every other subsequent even numbered year. All right, so that's what happened there, guys. He had some things in his favor because I told you once you get that lawyer involved, they know how to litigate, certain things on your behalf. All right, let's look at this other court minute here. I wonder if it's different. So let's just pull this one up, guys, to see if it's something different. All right, I think it is. So Sherry Samuels, all this stuff. You already know Sherry Samuels, Kevin Samuels. There's the attorneys there, file date there, stamped copy. So we know it's stamped in the Oklahoma court, March 23rd, 2007. Continuation from March 7, 07. That means they're trying to, set a new court date, basically. But this is the court order right here. All right, let's take a look at that. It's poor handwriting, guys, but that's what they wrote. It said visitation. On alternating weekends beginning April 6, 2007, parties exchange child at, I can't read that. At something, I don't know what that says. Denny's, so they got to exchange their kids at Denny's Friday and return their child at same place at a certain time. So they have a certain location where they're going to do the child exchanges. A specific date, specific place. On other weekends, father determines method of transfer child. Other transportation expenses will be shared pro rata in accordance with the child support percentages. So that's what they're just saying, how the expenses are going to be calculated to transport the child. Summary, handwriting, guys. Father determined method and holiday. I'm trying to read it, guys, but it's really poor handwriting. Method and holiday, parties share total expenses pro rata. All right, so that was the other court order here, allegedly. Public record. There is all the signatures there from the different parties, and there is the one from the judge there. It says Judge Walk. All right, so there that is. You guys had a chance to look at that. Again, this is all public information, so you can just pull this up yourself. You can pull it up yourself. So, standing order for journal entries. Sounds juicy. What is this about? Standard order for journal entries. Okay, let's see what this is about, guys. It says, again, stamp here. We know our parties, Sherry Samuels, Kevin Samuels. There is that case number there with our judge, Gary Walk. Standing order for journal entries. Let's see what this is about, guys. You are hereby directed to appear at 2:30 on 27th of April 2007 to show cause why no journal entry in this case has been prepared or circulated or signed or filed in this case. This hearing will be considered as a motion to settle. If you have specific issues to be addressed, you are invited to file a motion to settle or response at least 10 days in advance of this date and deliver a copy to the court. In the event of journal entry or decree or order has been properly filed, then your non-attendance will be excused. Please bring the attention to the bailiff. So that's just all that was. I guess they were supposed to order, do some type of journal entry. Nothing juicy there. All right, so here we're to the green. We're almost done, guys. We're almost probably start going out because my battery's dying. But essentially here you can see motion for application for contempt citation post judgment was April 19th. Oklahoma Court Information System Revolving Fund, Court Clerk Administrative Fee. These are just fees here, guys. Application for contempt citation. Notice of filing. All these different motions happening here, guys. There's a entry of appearance, and guys, the screen might go black when I put my charger in, so if it does, I'll just communicate the information to you if it goes black, and then you guys can look this stuff up yourself. I mean, it's public record if you can't see the screen, but I'll just read it out loud. So April 27th, 2007, entry of appearance by attorney Cynthia Rowe Antonio for petitioner. So petitioner got a new attorney, so it's her third attorney now. And this is April 27th, 2007. And I'm going to pull up the court document just in case you cannot see it anymore, because like I said, once I put that charger on, the screen has been going black lately, so I'm not sure what that is all about. So this court document, again, it shows the stamp filed copy there, and it tells us our parties are Sherry LaShawn Samuels and Kevin Rashawn Samuels. Entry of appearance. It says, comes now, Cynthia Rowe D'Antonio hereby enters her appearance as counsel. So remember I told you how they got to just do their little entry of appearance. So she filed her document showing that she's entering now as the petitioner, the ex-wife's attorney now. So they do a motion to settle their case, and that was granted or sustained. That's what that means by the judge. Order of modification by the judge. And there's a PDF, you guys, of that. And I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to take a look at that for you guys, and we can go through that. Again, I'm just going to have to speak it to you because I don't know if you can even see this anymore, guys. But again, you can look this stuff up yourself. I'm just reading from you the court document. So this court document says that it was filed in the District Court of Oklahoma, May 8th, 2007. The parties involved was Sherry Samuels and Kevin Samuels. And it was the date, they said, now on this 23rd day of March, there comes on for hearing in the above referenced matter, the adjournment from the date first scheduled for hearing on March 7, 2007. Petitioner appears in answer and by her attorney, Erythanol, I cannot say that girl's name for anything, Denson, and respondent appears in person and by his attorney, Stephen Ditto. And the court, after hearing, heard the statements of counsel and testimony of witnesses, being otherwise fully advised, makes findings of fact and conclusions of law. Pursuant thereto, the court finds that it is necessary to modify the decree of divorce herein as more fully set forth hereafter. It is therefore ordained and judged, or adjudicated, basically, decreed by the court as follows. Okay, petitioner's application for contempt citation is dismissed. So they dismissed the The wife's application for contempt, that was dismissed pursuant to the respondent's withdraw his petition to vacate. So they're saying if you, Kevin Samuels, withdraw your petition to vacate, then we will dismiss the wife's application for contempt citation. That's basically what that's saying. Because they're saying petitioner's application for contempt citation is dismissed, and pursuant thereto, respondent withdraws his petition to vacate. So that was withdrawn. It said petitioner's gross monthly income. We don't want to talk about her income, but she was making a decent amount. And respondent was making a decent amount. They both were making, decent amount. Total insurance for the minor child is $105. The child care expenses was $130. So they did the child support calculation. The respondent is ordered and directed to pay. They saying Kevin Samuels is ordered and directed to pay as reasonable child support. A summary of $500. It went up, guys. Remember, it was $299. Now he has to pay a child support of $577.97 beginning January 1st, 2007. See, number 3, you got to highlight that one. Because I told you this is all building up that resentment and that anger that we've seen and him bashing all these women. In my opinion, this is where it's coming from. Now he got to pay $577 per month. Right? I don't think he was happy about that. You messing with his money now. I told you, a lot of these men, they don't like that. Respondents shall also be responsible for and pay 52.4% of all employment and education-related child care incurred by petitioner with respondent's regular monthly child support. Respondents shall also be responsible for, and when they say respondent, they're talking about Kevin, guys. So I'll just say Kevin shall also be responsible for and pay a 52.4% of all reasonable necessary medical, dental, all the stuff. You guys know about this child custody stuff. He got to pay, typical things, the expenses for the kid. Petitioner on behalf of minor child, that's Sherry, within 30 days of Kevin Samuels' actual notice. So they're saying you need to be responsible for that. Petitioner shall advise the respondent of any change in the insurance premiums or employment-related child care as soon as possible, as such changes are made. Petitioner, that is Sherry, and I skipped over number 5, guys, because it's just the same stuff saying that the minor child, even years, they're talking about the tax exemption stuff that we talked about, that they are, respondent gets it for the even years, petition gets it for the odd years. So that's not really anything significant. But number 6, they're saying Sherry is awarded a judgment over and against Kevin Samuels, that's the respondent, as in for arrears. Arrears in child support. So Kevin Samuels was in arrears in child support. Your high value man, guys, was in arrears. Child support arrears, wasn't paying his bills, his child support bills for his kid. That's where that came from. I'm telling you guys, go back to watch those lives where he was telling that woman not to pay the child support. This man wasn't over here paying his child support. That's why he trying to tell her he was mad that his first wife did that. That's why he didn't have any more kids. So through December, in my opinion, as in for arrears, this is just my opinion, guys, in child support through December 31st, 2006, in the total sum of $2,713 with interest thereon until fully paid. So he was in arrears for $2,713. Allegedly. This is an order from the court, though. Respondent is awarded visitation with the minor child on alternating weekends. So we already talked about that before. So he gets every other weekend. That's about every other weekend. He gets visitation. And they said respondent shall determine the method of transportation of the child. Petitioner shall be responsible for and pay child support guidelines, all that stuff, pro rata share, all that stuff we talked about. Respondent is awarded summer and holiday visitation in accordance with the standard visitation attached. And he already had that before, as we talked about. Respondent shall determine the method of means of the, they're talking about transportation, basically methods and means of exchange of the minor child. And the petitioner is responsible for a percentage of those total expenses. So, and the remainder of the provisions of the decree of divorce and dissolution of marriage will remain in full effect. And that was from the Honorable Judge Gary Walk, the judge of the district court. And if you guys can't see this, I'll just tell you, there was a signature from the different parties. It looks like the attorney signed for the parties here. We have both attorneys signing the documents. And then we just have a child support here, guideline and calculation. So that was pretty juicy, you guys. That was juicy. Juicy, guys. This whole record here is just giving us that background that really gives us context to why he was, you know, in my opinion, bashing and seemed kind of angry at the black woman, in my opinion. Stemming from this is my opinion. You know? A lot of women too. I wonder if he had what relationship he had with his mom. I know that his mom, you know, talked about things, but I just still wonder what was the relationship like. Because I mean, he was bashing women that were black, that were obese. His mom's black, so I don't get why was he had so much anger, you know, towards the black woman and women that are, you know, getting child support. In my opinion, just watch his videos now that you know the background, and then put it together and make your own analysis. All right, so. Now this is just information revolving fees and funds and all that good stuff. And they're just talking about different fees, clerk fees, court clerk revolving fund, child abuse, multidisciplinary fees, just standard document, standard fees, revolving fund. June 4th, 2007, there was a notice of filing, guys. So there's another filing. So now they need to revisit. This is a whole year later. So that ended May 18, 2007, not a whole year later, sorry, a month later. A month later, they come back, June 4th, 2007. It's a notice of filing. So transcript of proceedings had on the 7th day of March before the Honorable Gary Walk, court reporter. All right, transcript of proceedings, they had a transcript. They don't really tell us exactly what was going on yet. Notice of change of address. Attorney for petitioner. Okay, so that's why they had the filing. She was trying to give notice that her address is changed, basically. Objection to subpoena deuces take 'em. Oh, so somebody filed a subpoena for some documents, and there was an objection to that subpoena requiring those documents, basically. Somebody was asking the court to basically make this person give some documents, and they filed an objection to that request. So let's take a look. So this is a stamped filed copy from the Oklahoma District Court, County Court. Parties are Sherry Samuels and Kayshawn Samuels. And the objection reads, come now, the respondent, and for his objection. So this is coming from Kevin Samuels. He's a respondent. To the subpoenas deuces take 'em. So he is objecting to the petitioner's subpoena, ordering him to do something, give him some type of documents. So he said the attached subpoena was received by this attorney June 25th, 2007. This attorney has been able to contact the respondent and is not certain whether respondent desires representation, inasmuch as there is no action or motion pending herein. Child support was last modified herein on March 23rd. Respondent would further object to the request in paragraph 1 inasmuch as no time limit is set forth therein, and it is therefore overly broad. So they're just doing standard objections. They're saying overly broad and burdensome. So it's just standard. These are standard legal objections they make to try to say, you know, you're asking for too much. You're not giving us any specific requests. That's what they're saying. They said this attorney has been unable to contact the respondent and is not certain whether respondent desires representation inasmuch as there is no action or motion pending herein. Ooh-wee. Okay, Kevin Samuels' attorney filed this, and Kevin Samuels' attorney is saying that he has been unable to contact Kevin Samuels and it's not certain whether Kevin Samuels desires representation. And as there's been no action, no motion pending herein. So his own attorney is saying that he could not get in contact now with Kevin Samuels. So what they did was they filed this subpoena duces tecum on his attorney. They gave it to his attorney, Stephen. And then Stephen came back with, hey, I'm objecting to this. I can't even get a hold of my client. Allegedly. That's what his own attorney saying. And that was filed June 29th, 2007, y'all. So respondent was last modified herein on March 23rd, 2007. Respondent would further object. And now after he said that, he's saying, look, I can't get a hold of my client. Now he's just doing the standard legal objections of overly broad and burdensome. That's just standard objections that attorneys make to basically say the document request is not specific enough and all those little, they're just blanket objections they make, okay? And they say this attorney has forwarded said subpoena and this objection to respondent's last known address. So he can't, his own attorney can't even get a hold of him. That's just a shame. Complete shame. Can't even get a hold of his client. Allegedly, that's what that document from his own attorney filed. His own attorney, Stephen, filed that. All right. Y'all can look that up. It's on June 29, 2007. It's an objection. It says the document was available. It was objection to the subpoena duces, but it's a duces tecum basically. January 6, 2007, the judge, Gary Walker, there's a motion to reconsider continued, and that means that they moved it to a different date. They moved it to August 3rd, 2007 at 9 a.m. And then January 19, 2007, they did a certificate of service. So they serviced, they got proof that he was served or whoever was served. We'll figure all that out. Response to reconsider by what is this? I don't know what they're trying to say. Response or something they're saying. All right, I'm going to pull up this document, guys, and I'll tell you what the document is, so you probably may not be able to see my screen at this point. But basically, this is a court document in the District Court of Oklahoma County, filed in the District Court on June 19th, 2007. We have the deputy court clerk signing that stamped copy, showing it was actually filed. And our same party, Sherry Samuels and Kevin Roshan Samuels as the respondent, Sherry as the petitioner. Response to motion to reconsider. They said, comes now the petitioner and for his response to the motion to reconsider filed herein by the petitioner would allege and state as follows. The motion of the order of modification resulting from the trial on March 27, 2007 was filed on May 3rd, 2007. Attached. Petitioner filed a motion to reconsider on May 18, 2007. A motion to reconsider does not exist in the Oklahoma statutory scheme and may be judicially considered as a motion for new trial or a term time motion to vacate. They cite some case law. They say the motion for new trial. So they're filing they're trying to set a trial at this point, guys. They said the motion for the new trial must be filed within 10 days of the date of filing. This just seemed like a very long, drawn out situation, guys. Even after the divorce, look at all the stuff we have to go through just looking at. Petitioner has not set forth the specific grounds to vacate a judgment as required. The petitioner sets forth that respondent submitted a less than credible document with purported to pay stub for his full-time employment. Also, petitioner is claiming, that's the wife, she claimed that Kevin Samuels submitted a less than credible document which supported his pay stub for his full-time employment. See, because they have to disclose their pay stubs to each other to show their current income, because that's in terms of calculating what their child support to be. And what Sherry was claiming allegedly, based on this response to motion to reconsider, is she's saying he didn't give her a credible document showing his pay stub, his full employment. He over here playing, not even giving her, showing his proof of income, allegedly. As to the part-time job, Kevin Samuels, it says responded, but I just say Kevin Samuels so you guys know who I'm talking about. Kevin Samuels was unable to produce any form of proof of his earnings. Allegedly, this is a court document. Petitioner seems to be saying that the decision of the court was not sustained by sufficient evidence, a precise grounds for a new trial under paragraph, and they cite some case law, guys. Petitioner also claims that the court awarding respondent even numbered years on the income tax dependency exemption. Okay, now they're challenging that income tax thing. Remember before, now they're going to give him the even numbers. Now they're saying, we need to challenge that. They're saying for a child, they say it's unfair because there is a child support arrears. So they're saying, look, it's not fair for you to give him even numbers for income tax dependency when he owes back pay and child support. That's what number 6, this is the 6 of this court document filed in the Oklahoma District Court. Number 6 is saying it's not fair to give him this benefit of the income dependency exemption if he's not even paying he's in child support arrears. That's their argument. Allegedly. This also would seem to fit under their paragraph 651 as the gross monthly income complaint. There is no grounds under section 1031, which describes the alleged problem. Okay. The content and substance of the motion to reconsider will determine whether it is a motion for a new trial or a motion to vacate, inasmuch as every motion for new trial includes a request to modify the court's decision. And then they cite case law, Kerr versus Cleary, to support their argument. Let's see what else we could find in here. It says, okay, petitioner refused to sign trial was held, evidence was presented, witnesses testified, and the court made a ruling. So that's what they're saying. They said several hearings, they said the court will recall that this matter was litigated at several hearings over a period of months with petitioner's first attorney. So this woman was put, man, poor Sherry. Y'all pray for Sherry. This woman went through it. She went through it. Now, I wonder if she's allegedly still single. I would be too. Of all this stuff, I would be like, I can't. That first man put me through all this. I'm done. Allegedly. I went on her Facebook. I didn't see anybody over there. I don't want to post her Facebook, but I did go over there. It says she was single. Allegedly. So petitioner refused to sign the proposed order of modification and appearance at the motion to settle necessary, not with petitioner's first attorney, but with his new second attorney, which did not appear at any of the evidentiary hearings. Okay. So petitioner had every opportunity to conduct efficient discovery prior to any of the hearings, but did not. They're claiming that she didn't do it. Now they're saying she didn't do it. That's interesting. The court took into account 100% of the testimony offered regarding Kevin Samuel's income. They said his income at that time was $45,000 per year at Office Depot and $2,500 per year at Fitness Center. So he was working at Office Depot and a fitness center back then. Does that sound like high value man to y'all? He was making about $45,000 per year at Office Depot, and he was making $2,300 per year at a fitness center. That's where he was, y'all. But he said a high value man is supposed to make $10,000 per month for over a course, I think 5 years. This $45,000 per year at Office Depot and $2,300 per year at a fitness center. Does that equate y'all to a high value man based on his standards? Because he was holding all these black men accountable, but he didn't seem to be living that high value life at this time. At this time. And then he said, you got to make that amount over, like, I think 5 years. But this man rose to his financial fame and got really, rich or affluent. And he only been making that quite amount of money, probably 2021, 2022. Is that so? Again, he wasn't really qualified to be a high value man, even though, yeah, he got 1.46 million followers and he was making all this money, but he wasn't making that 10,000 amount for over a course of 5 years yet, because he hadn't even got to the 5-year mark. It would have been at most 3 years. So again, based on his definition, he wasn't even a high value man telling all these men that they had to be high value. Again, the hypocrisy, y'all. But y'all be over here following these men, worshiping them. Y'all trying to threaten women's lives because we're giving our opinion about allegations out there. We're not celebrating the man's death. We're all sad, but we're looking at, information and allegations, and you over here harassing us instead of trying to go and sell, go and talk about and commemorate your God, because y'all worship this man. Y'all over here harassing women now, bullying women now. Is that what men do now? They bully women, calling women names. That sounds real classy, men. Sarcastically speaking. But, here you can see his income. They said there was no evidence presented, nor was any objection entered to the court findings of Kevin Samuels' annual gross income of $47,000 and $300, or $3,942 per month. That was his income. That is way below the $10,000 per month that he was telling all these high value. Tell him how to be a high value man. You got to make $10,000 per month. This man was making $3,942. Now, to me, that's a pretty good amount of money to me. But I'm saying we just going based upon Kevin Samuels' definition of high value man, not what, we personally think. This is what he said a high value man was. This is what the Monosphere over there, they're sitting there threatening, harassing women online and trying to intimidate women, calling women names all online because they worship this man who was supposed to be high value, but he was only making $3,942 per month, a total of $47,300 per year. All right. The hypocrisy, y'all. He was over here teaching all these men things that he wasn't even doing. So that means he was bashing men during that time on his little social media lives, telling these men all these things. And of course they weren't listening, because that's why he had to switch his whole little formula around, because they didn't want to listen. And now they want to come at us talking about, he was speaking the truth about you ladies. You don't want to hear the truth. Oh, hush with all that bull. Y'all didn't want to hear the truth. That's why Kevin Samuels had to change his whole thing around in the first place, because y'all didn't want to hear it. Y'all never want to hear it. Y'all want us to sit around like little doormats and do everything you tell us to do and not have any form of an expression. We just have to sit there as little robots. That's what you guys want. Cook, clean, pay the bills, while y'all sit here, play your little video games, not go to work, and all you provide us with is your area down there. That's all you provide us with. And some kids that you eventually leave us for. And then when we get you for child support, now y'all want to get mad at us. That's what it sounds like, in my opinion. In my opinion, y'all, this is just an opinion. All right. So according, petitioner's motion to reconsider should be treated as a motion for a new trial and was therefore not timely and should be dismissed. In the alternative, the motion to reconsider should be denied on the merits. So this motion was filed by Kevin Samuels' attorney. That's why we saw that part about the petitioner in there. Kevin Samuels' attorney, Stephen M. Ditto, filed this motion that we just read through. So he's the one that provided Kevin Samuels' income. He was saying that he's claiming that the petitioner and the second attorney did not appear at the evidentiary hearings and had every opportunity and all that stuff. So that's why I said, I don't know what this is from. This is because that's filed by Kevin Samuels' attorney on July 19th, 2007 in the District Court of Oklahoma, y'all. All right, so let's go back to the District Court of Oklahoma. We're going to go continue to look at, we just looked over that motion. So August 3rd, 2007, I'm just going to read it to you because I know you guys can't see right now, but George Walk motion to reconsider was denied. So they're saying that the plaintiff's motion this time was denied. So that means Sherry's motion to reconsider was denied. Return of service by cert mail for Steve Ditto, Kevin Samuels, that's his attorney. So they're doing a return of service. Now there's a journal entry motion. We already know what that is, guys. We talked about the journal entry motions. I'll read it to you guys just because I told you we're going to go through the whole record. So I'll do it because I told you we were going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, okay? All right. So this is a filed stamp copy. It's filed in the District Court, Oklahoma County, and it was filed August 15th, 2007. We had a court clerk. She signed it and she gave the stamp, and it was filed in the District Court of Oklahoma County, state of Oklahoma. They have the case number here, family case number, FD20036344. And the parties are Sherry Samuels and Kevin Roshan Samuels. So they're talking about, here comes on for hearing upon petitioner's motion to reconsider. Petitioner appears in person and through her attorney, Cynthia Antonio, and respondent appears through his attorney, Stephen Ditto. And the court, having read the motion and the response thereto, having heard the statements of counsel, making findings of facts, conclusions of law pursuant thereto, the court finds that said motion should be denied for the following reasons. The motion to reconsider is not timely, so they said that's a procedural denial. So they denied because it wasn't timely. Then they said that after having considered the merits of the motion, the court finds that motion should also be denied for said reason. So this is just a procedural denial. That's all it is. It's like you didn't fall on time, so that's why it's denied. Nothing juicy there, guys, for us to really read about. They said they further ordered that the court issue of attorney's fees and costs should be, and same is hereby served for further hearing upon, reserved. They're going to reserve the issue as it relates to attorney's fees. They're going to hear a filing of promotion. So they're trying to find out who's going to be responsible for the court fees. So they're going to refer that out to another date. That's what they're saying. We're going to reserve that for later. So that was what that was all about. Nothing really juicy in that, guys. We're almost done. We're almost there. So the next year after that, that journal entry was August 15, 2007. All right. So October 16, 2008, there was a notice of docketing. June 17, 2010, there was an administratively reassigned by AOC. So they reassigned it. Another May 11, 2017. Again, it was reassigned. And there's a lot of just reassignments. So then the next year, July 11, 2008, it was reassigned again. And then July 24th, 2019. So every year it was being just reassigned. It was reassigned by AOC. They were reassigning it, looks like, because at first, June 7, 2010, they reassigned it. Then they waited 7 years until 2017. They reassigned it. Then the next year was 2018. Then 2019, they reassigned it. Now, the very last entry of this was last year. This is what I've been trying to get to, guys. So all this time, this man was paying the child support, whatever's going on. He was in arrears, all that stuff. You guys saw that, the $2,000 he owed. Now, finally, guys, after all these years, May 19th, 2021, that was last year while he was over here doing all these lives, release and satisfaction of judgment of child support. Okay, there's a document that is a PDF form that you can download if you go to the website and type in the case number I gave you guys. Since you can't see it now, probably, I don't think, but if you can, praise God, if you can't. It is a stamped copy. It was filed in the District Court, Oklahoma County, May 19th, 2021. That was last year while he was over here teaching high-value men stuff. Finally, he pays his child support off. It took him that long, finally. This woman is now, the daughter is now 21 years old. So last year, she had to have been 20. So she's an adult by now. And he over here still paying back child support, but online trashing women. Telling women, you need to stop getting these men for child support. Take him off of child support. And why you keep leaving him? Because he's thinking about himself. He over here bitter, a bitter black man over here bashing and tearing down all these black women because of his own internal hurt and not dealing with his own mess. Not trying to learn how to forgive, not getting therapy, not addressing where he went wrong in that relationship and forgiving and moving on. No, he taking that onto these social media lives because he knows that's what men want to hear. They want to hear you tearing down women. So he uses his animosity, in my opinion, and his bitterness from his first marriage, in my opinion, because the reason why I feel that is you see his second marriage, he didn't have any kids. Nope. No, sirree. He wasn't about to have any kids, guys, because he saw that child support for that last, and he just finished paying this child support off, guys, May 19, 2021. And so Sherry said, I hear Sherry Samuels acknowledge that Kevin R. Samuels has paid in full the unpaid amount of child support. And she gave the case numbers that we talked about, the court number. She had to wait. This poor woman had to wait this long. He started the divorce out in 2005, y'all. And he finally paid it off 2021. When the poor girl was already an adult. She was 21 now, but she was 20 by then. So she's been an adult for since she was 18. That's 18, 19, 20, 21. So 18, 19, 20. So that's 3 years past her being an adult. He finally pays it off. Finally. Finally, y'all. So look at all that stuff. We went through the whole mess, y'all. Started out from 2005 when she filed that divorce. This woman, all the back and forth that she had to go through trying to find this man. He moved from Oklahoma all the way to Texas. Couldn't even find him to get him in court. Bench warrant had to be issued. The man had to be booked into the jail just to get him to show up to court, allegedly based on this court document. You can go to the Oklahoma State Courts Network, you guys. That's where I'm on. And the district court in and for Oklahoma County. You can look up the same stuff on your own. But based on this information, this record, this woman, in my opinion, poor Sherry, had gone through so many years with this man. I mean, it's just sad. The many, many years of having to do that. This man left all the way from Oklahoma, flew all the way, didn't even let her know, y'all. Left. He wasn't even visiting the kid at first. She allegedly, that's what she said in her response, is that he wasn't even coming on the weekends he was supposed to be there. She didn't know he hadn't even left. So it's just like, put that woman through so much, and now he go on live, become this little public figure now, bashing women, telling women how ugly they are, how fat they are, telling them they should stop, getting these men for child support. That came from deep-rooted hurt, y'all. Deep-rooted hurt and bitterness and unforgiveness, in my opinion. All right, so we went through that, but now let's go over what I told you we were going to go over regarding this sweet young lady. She warned me. She told me that there was, this pattern with this narc attorney, allegedly, and that he goes around. Based on her comment, I wanted to read it because I didn't even know, but she is putting me up on game. I don't want to put her name out there, but I'm gonna read her comment because I thought it was very interesting. So y'all know that narc attorney over there. He's been harassing me allegedly. He's been posting my profile, posting my personal information, doxing me and allegedly other another YouTuber. Posting my last name, stuff I didn't disclose. That's called doxing, and in my opinion, sending his toxic, enraged crowd to harass my page. You guys can see the chats right now. That's evidence that he's instructed them. And also, if you go to his community tab, you can see the pattern of him telling his followers that if they don't go and harass us, or if they don't go report our channels, we're just speaking our freedom of speech. He doesn't even know what hate speech is. Hate speech is when you're targeting a certain ethnicity or stuff like that. We talked about what hate speech was yesterday, so you guys could look at that video. But what we're doing is not hate speech. We're giving an opinion about this person's life. This is this person's life. This is his background. Now we're looking at his credentials. We're asking, was he credible to give us advice? That's what we're looking at. Was this man really credible? And based on his history, I don't think so. I think he was a biased, angry black man that was taking his anger and rage out on black women. That's my opinion. Based on what I saw, guys, that reading that whole record, no wonder he was mad on those lives. No wonder. This man didn't deal with his own mess. He sat there blaming the black woman for his own decisions, whatever happened in that relationship. He tried to abandon, in my opinion, his whole situation, knew he was in the middle of a divorce, moved allegedly from Oklahoma all the way to Texas to escape responsibility. Based on that allegation, allegedly, we read the court documents. You guys seen it. You can look this stuff up yourself. So let's go over this statement from her. Not a statement, but her comment in one of my chats. She said, I know you're telling the truth. She said, Kevin used to also do this to women in real life. She said, so not at all surprised with behavior I'm seeing from, and we'll call him narc attorney. I'm not even going to give his name anymore. He's not worthy of getting his name out there anymore. Allegedly. So narc attorney, if you see this, because I know you guys stalk your victims. That's what she said. She said, if you see this narc attorney, I know you stalk your victims, because this is a person that she says she was also a victim, allegedly. You know who's typing this, because I've had to keep changing my name and photo, y'all. She had to change her name and photo. And this is what he did to me. I didn't disclose my personal information. This man, so desperate to stalk and harass not only me, he did it to, y'all can go watch the video where he did it to another blogger, doxed this man, went and told his subscribers the man's home state, talking about he knew where the man's mother lived. That sounded like a threat. He says, I know where your mom lives. I know where your family resides. I know where to find you. And then he got his little angry black men in the chat, the little flying monkeys talking about, show us the address. I know where to go to visit, when I get to Texas. These men out here trying to, threaten our safety because we are voicing our freedom of speech. And this man is doing that. Based on this girl, she's saying she was also allegedly a victim and she had to sadly change her name and photo. And I appreciate this sweet lady, being brave enough to speak out and tell me because I had no idea, That's what she's alleging. And she says, leave her alone. Stop bullying women. This is sad, you guys. These black men, sadly, and I'm not saying all black men. I love black men. There's some great black men out there. For example, I'm always going to shout out Ringo TV. He is a great example. If you black women want to go out there and really see what a real black man is like and how he should behave, check out his channel. Like, he really does have a great head on his shoulders. It seems like, he truly is coming from a grounded mindset. So there's different type of men out there. I'm not generalizing it to all black men. I'm just saying particularly the Manosphere. Those people that worship Kevin Samuel, that's a set group of a hate group, in my opinion. It's a hate group. In my opinion, I think the Kevin Samuels group's a hate group because they go out and they bully vulnerable black women. They're trying to bully me. They're threatening me. They're calling me all kinds of names, talking about my skin color, all kind of things. And, that's bullying. That's bullying and it's abuse. It's verbal abuse to some woman you don't know because I'm voicing my opinion. And you imagine now how they're treating their women and now how that's reflected on Kevin Samuel's legacy. It further proves, you guys, our opinion about Kevin Samuels. If his followers are out there threatening, harassing, tearing down, bullying black women like they're doing with me, calling me names and all kinds of stuff, and trying to get this man's address and his residence to attack him, that's the kind of hatred that Kevin Samuels taught and instilled in these men. That's the legacy you guys are supporting, black men that are worshiping this man. You guys are basically proving all the different allegations and opinions out there about this controversy man. You think you're really upholding this man's legacy by threatening a vulnerable black woman? Do you think that really makes Kevin Samuels look good? By having a hate group, does that really make him look good? No, you're basically confirming what we've said about him. You are, that he basically empowered and emboldened men that are bitter, men that have not dealt with their hurt and their pain, men that may be having mother issues, that have broken relationships in their childhood. They never got the therapy they truly needed to really heal. And even if they did, they didn't really take the time to heal and get free from that. So now they're angry and they're going around victimizing, in my opinion, women. They're not stepping to men, but they're coming to women's channels, threatening and harassing. And that's supposed to make them look good. They don't realize how bad they look doing that. And then we got an attorney who's supposed to be with the bar over here instructing them that if they don't go out here and harass us and report our channels, particularly, he's really trying to target me and the Kevin Samuels Roast Network. If they don't go out here and strike our channels and all this stuff, which we're not doing anything wrong. We're not committing any hate speech. We don't hate anyone. Mind you, we're just giving an opinion about allegations out there about this public figure. He's a celebrity. We would do this with anybody. Okay, anybody, any celebrity, you guys go and you guys will see different critiques of various celebrities out there, positive and negative. Sometimes people go in on the baby. He's a celebrity. People go in on sometimes, what's that man's name? Kanye West sometimes. Back and forth. Sometimes they like him, sometimes they don't like him. It's a part of being a celebrity. When you step on that platform and you start getting 1.43 million subscribers, you take with you the ridicule, the critique of the public society. You took on that platform and now you got these little wounded men out here who can't seem to handle us giving an opinion on their God. I feel like it's their God. They worship this man. They're willing to give their whole life, their whole freedom, to risk it all for this man they never met. A man that in my opinion, did not live as a high value man. All these things he tried to teach these men, he wasn't even living. He wasn't living, y'all. So let's finish this sweet young lady's comment. Again, I got to thank her. She was brave enough to do this, y'all. She was brave. This woman was brave, and I got to give her a lot of love because, again, I wasn't familiar with this narc attorney. I didn't know that what I was dealing with, you know? I'm over here just coming in innocent thinking that he's like a typical professional figure, but no, he's not acting like that. He's acting like a bully, in my opinion. He's over here disclosing, doxing YouTubers, giving personal information out of locations and names and different stuff, that information that we did not disclose ourselves, but he's out there stalking people. He's out there getting whatever his investigators or sources to get people's personal locations and information, trying to find out someone's mother's home location. Is that what attorneys do now? They go around sending out their followers to harass and in my opinion, try to endanger them by disclosing their personal information? Mr. Narc Attorney, you're damaging your own reputation, sir. You're over here acting like you're the lead of a mafia or something, putting out hits on people, in my opinion. That's what it feels like. You disclosing personal information that people didn't disclose online. You're instructing your followers to go and harass people. You're telling them to go to our channels. And you can see it in the chat as evidence here. I'm going to save this chat and the other chat I have from the other day of them spewing all their hatred. And that's coming from you as the leader. And as you guys heard me read, and I want to encourage you guys to go over to his community page and read those comments. There's some of those followers who are Kevin Samuels, who are real Kevin Samuels followers, the ones that are legit, that are actually intelligent ones. They even know what's up. And they're like, hey, this is not cool. Kevin Samuels wouldn't even be for this. Why are you doing this? There's actually legit ones out there. And then we got the ones that are just so blind and brainwashed and will do anything. And they will give their whole entire life for this man. They will give their soul for Kevin Samuels. And anything that narc attorney tells them to do, they will do it. They will do it. All right. So, and he's telling them, if you don't go out there and if you don't do your job to retain the legacy of Kevin Samuels by taking down all these haters and striking their channels with hate speech, then you're not getting the autopsy and you're not getting the link to the funeral. Do you think if Mr. Samuels came back from the dead and he had a talk with his followers, you think he'd be happy with this? Is this really upholding the legacy of Kevin Samuels? If you claim that your God is such a good God, because that's what y'all treat him like. Y'all worshiping him, you're putting tattoos on yourself. Y'all over here y'all threatening different people anytime someone has an opinion that you don't like. If you think your Kevin Samuels is so of a good person, why do you have to threaten people? Why do you have to bully people? Why do you have to call people names? Why do you have to berate people? Clearly, you don't believe what you're saying. You don't believe it yourself, because you wouldn't have to threaten people if it was true. If your little Kevin Samuels was such a good person and you claim he changed all these people's life, why are you threatening people and bullying people on their channels then? If you notice that, guys, you got to look at people's behavior. If somebody really is telling the truth about something, then they don't need to bully people. They don't need to harass people. They don't need to intimidate people, call people names. If they think what they're saying is true, they won't say anything. They'll just say whatever, because I know what you're saying is a lie. I don't care. Say what you want to say. I don't care. But when someone knows that you're coming to the truth about something, allegedly, and your opinion may be true about that person, allegedly, then they get mad, y'all. That's when they get mad, because they feel like they trying to put the wool over your head and try to convince you to agree with them. They want to put a wool over your head to convince you that this person is a good person when they know up and down that he is wrong. And they want you to be brainwashed, ladies. They want you to believe Kevin Samuels. They want you to lower your standards. They want you to feel insecure about yourself. They want you to feel like you have to accept any little thing that these men give you or lack thereof. Just be a doormat. That's what they want you to do. They want you to feel so low about yourself that you put up with them having multiple women. You got to be willing to share a man. That's what Kevin Samuels said. Are you willing to share a man if you have kids? or if you're over 35. They want you to accept that. So that's why they're mad. They are angry because you don't believe it. You need to believe it. He was telling the truth. Well, why are you so mad then, sir? Why are you so mad? If you're really telling the truth, you don't have to get mad. You don't have to put any energy in it. You don't have to prove a thing. You can just go about your regular day, watch some empowering videos that, commence or recognize your little God, because y'all worship this man, as a good person as you believe. You wouldn't have to come on people's channels bullying them. You wouldn't have to harass them. You wouldn't have to call them names. You wouldn't have to berate them. So clearly you're just telling everybody else that what we're saying is true and you don't want people to hear. You're saying our opinion must be true by coming over here bullying us. That's all you're saying. When people see that on the outside, they're thinking to themselves, why are they coming over here bullying this woman by having a mere opinion? She didn't say it was a fact. She's just saying this is her little opinion, based on what she's seeing out there on the social medias and the news reports and stuff, allegations that, sources are saying. And that's just her opinion. But, I've saw Kevin Samuels' lives and I know he's this way and I'm going to move on about my day. But no, you guys are threatening people, harassing, putting hate speech up. You guys are the hate speech, not us. You're the hate speech. You should be striking your own profiles. You're the hate speech. All I got to do is screenshot, or I could just submit each and every one of your little chats over to YouTube, and you are violating the guidelines. You're committing hate speech against me. You're committing hate speech against other YouTubers who are giving their opinion. You're harassing and stalking each of our pages. There's been so many stories that we've covered, and none of those other stories, you can look on my other stuff, none of them go into the hate and the threatening that y'all do. So clearly you're telling everybody online that we're right. You're endorsing what we're saying by giving us all this attention, by harassing and stalking us, by threatening us, by calling us names and all that. You're telling everybody out there that what we're saying is true and you don't want the truth to come out. That's what you're saying. Because we're just saying, hey, this is just a little opinion. This is what the news outlet said. This is what this source said. Who knows if it's true, but this is my opinion about it. What y'all think about that? That's all we're saying. And you don't like our opinion. So now you want to threaten us and say, y'all need to believe how we believe. He's a good man and he was telling the truth. Well, why are you threatening us then? Why are you so mad? We ain't mad. None of us are mad. We're just having a nice dialogue. But why are you mad? So this sweet girl, she continues, she says, someone might also want to check out Brittany Renner video posted a few weeks ago on her IG, where she speaks about also being bullied by someone. So this girl in this comment is saying Kevin also used to do this to women in real life. So Kevin is friends with narc attorney, allegedly. They have some type of affiliation. We saw some photos out there. We don't know if they're friends or not. That's what he claims. But again, this man is not credible. In my opinion, it's just my opinion. I don't feel like he's shown me personally, you guys make your own opinion about him. But me personally, I don't find him to be credible. A man that is over here posting people's personal information online to his enraged hate group, having them go out harassing people's comments and stuff. It sounds like they have a similar kind of mindset. They just harass and bully women in real life, both of them. Because allegedly, that's what this girl's saying, that it happened to her with Kevin in real life, that Kevin has done this. And this poor, beautiful woman had to hide her identity. She had to change her photo around, name, all kinds of stuff. She had to go get her name changed. This woman had to change her name. But we got an attorney out here who's using his little license there to enrage and incite, in my opinion, threats, harassment, and bullying online by instructing his followers to go to our channels and threaten us. You know what this sounds like, guys? And this is all allegations. Again, this is just my opinion. But you know what this sounds like, guys? This sounds like President Trump. Remember when President Trump, his followers, he used to always, incite them. He would say stuff like, and it's just an opinion, he would say stuff like, oh, this is voter fraud. You guys should, see this as voter fraud. He was whining all that. And that was making his rallying his client, his people up. And he would say stuff about the Proud Brothers and be like, the Proud Brothers, he used to tell the Proud Brothers to, stand by. Stand by, Proud Brothers. And that was sending a message to them, you guys, to go out and just wait to attack, basically. You see, they use these little indirect languages to be all kind and make it sound like it's innocent, but they're really sending these indirect instructions, in my opinion, to go out and harass, harm, whatever. You're sending personal information out, Mr. Narc Attorney, about YouTubers to your enraged crowd, and then you're telling them to come talk to us, right? So what are you trying to do there? That sounds like bullying to me. That sounds like, threatening someone's life or endangering someone over freedom of speech. That sounds like hate speech. That's inciting, in my opinion, it's inciting violence. It sounds similar to, what is it, President Trump? President Trump. That sounds like the same to me. In my opinion. Again, this is all opinions, y'all. Take it how you want to take it. They said someone also might want to check Brittany Renner's video post a few weeks ago on her IG where she speaks about also being bullied by someone. I'm going to check her Instagram out. Let's look at her Instagram. Then check Kevin's recent IG post with the light-skinned woman standing in fighting stance. Ooh, okay. We'll have to see that. Like I said, he bullies all of us, his wolf pack, and his wolf pack. She said, like I said, he bullies all of us and his wolf pack. God done made an example out of Kevin. Don't think he will stop at him, narc attorney. So that was her statement. Again, that's an allegation. I don't know whether it's true or not. Given disclaimer, I have no clue. But that was her statement. I want to take a look at Brittany Renner's profile, you guys, because she said there's something on here. See if we can find what she was saying a couple weeks ago. Brittany Renner. And remember, we saw something on that little dating site, whether or not it's credible, that she had an encounter with Mr. Samuels. So that was an allegation out there. Whether it was true or not, we don't know. I wish you would have told me what post it was, because we can go through these posts all day. So she said a couple of weeks ago, you guys. So let's take a look. I don't know if we'll be able to find it, though. Happiness is homemade. I love it here. Fashion Nova. Watchful. She said Megan also opens up about depression and mental health. I'm crying watching this. Again, I love you all so much. Sounds like she's been through something. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to see if I can find what she was saying about being bullied. And I may not be able to find it. Maybe, sweetie, if you could let me know what post it was, because we could be here all day looking at this girl's stuff. Peaceful, but I'm ready. I'm more ready.
Because the objective of war is peace. And sometimes to get peace, you have to choose violence. I mean, and nobody wants to resort to violence. But sometimes you gotta punch the bully in the mouth just to show them this ain't that. See, I don't play about me. I just don't. I will do any and everything to protect, honor, and serve myself. If you truly prioritize your peace, you have no problem embracing a little mayhem to clear things out of the way. So when the dust settles, Zen at last, Zen at last. Thank God Almighty we have Zen at last. Everyone wants peace,
okay,
but
so that was Brittany. It sounded like she was already going through some in that little video. There's some background behind that, why she was feeling that way. Okay, let's read this from Brittany. She says, I haven't been posting a lot of videos speaking, but moving forward, and this was April 6th, moving forward, I'm going to share whatever message is on my heart. It may resonate, it may not. Either way, don't care, because someone needs to hear this. I allow myself to feel whatever comes up, even if that's anger towards a person, but I never lose sight of this being me. This is your show. If you claim to give main character energy, then act like it. You can change your script. So let's see what she says in this video. I'm not sure
Take a deep breath. And understand that when you're ready to take accountability for your life, whenever you're ready to change that internal world, address the internal conflict, is when your external reality will change. I remember feeling so stuck. Like, how did I get myself here? There's no reason to dwell. Beating yourself up about it isn't going to do anything productive, at least. The cool thing about those thoughts are...
All right, so she obviously was reflecting on whatever situation she happened to get herself in. Doesn't seem like she was in a good place mentally at that time. Not sure what it was.
What up, bitches?
I don't know what video or which one she's talking about, and I could go through all this stuff, y'all. But she says that there was something on this girl's. Y'all can go ahead and take the time to look at her Instagram if you want to see what she was referring to. But I did want to read her statement saying that this has happened allegedly. Who knows? I don't know if it's true, but allegedly it is. She's dealt with this. She's had to change her name and photo. Other women allegedly has been bullied. It's like, y'all need to stop. It's not looking good, especially as a licensed attorney going around sending out his followers on a written public profile, telling them to go to harass a woman and other people because they're just giving an opinion. But then when it comes to a blogger like a man, Mr. Ringo TV, who has been calling him out this whole time, he never ever says anything about that because he wouldn't dare. He wouldn't dare, but a little small profile, he claims up and down, oh, you're so insignificant. If I'm so insignificant, why you keep talking about me? Why are you trying to disclose my personal information? Why are you trying to get your followers to threaten and harass my page then? If I was so insignificant, if I was just a small blogger. Clearly, I'm very significant in your mind because you went out of your way to find out my personal information. Clearly, you're making me very significant online. In fact, you helped me get 3,000 subscribers. Yeah. This person you claim is so insignificant. So make it make sense, narc attorney. All right. Thank you guys for listening to this live. Take care and have a great Saturday.